There is an abandoned mental institution 20 miles away from where I live. Apparently one of my friends had found some book that just had a picture in it of just blackness, and he brought it back to my house. Fast forward to this night that we're doing Salvia, my friend, who's now tripping for 2 hours, is talking about this book and that we need to bring it back. He had like a 2.5 hour experience. He was telling us things from a ghost perspective. I've gone over it 1,000,000 times that there's just no way he could have known.
Here we go.
All right. Cheat Codes podcast. We are back. It's been probably, 4 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
This is the first one in 4 years.
Yeah, since COVID.
Oh, man.
You know, COVID happened, and we had 8 months off of touring. So we did some podcasts, and then all the shows came back at once. So we were like, well, we don't have time for this anymore.
Wow. That was really productive, though.
And now
where we used to film it, we didn't have that place anymore either. So
yeah, the studio was up and down. So we had to come back, first episode back, and we have a very special guest. Bryce Vine is with us.
One and only.
The myth, the legend. Bryce, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit to the
Bryce.
audience? Pretend like they don't know who you are.
Yeah. Hey, how are you? Good to be here.
What do you do? What are you about? I don't even know. I don't even know
It
yet.
has been 4 years, huh?
Yeah.
I make music. I write songs. We have songs together.
We do.
And learning a lot along the way, you know?
Hell yeah.
Like, yeah.
Hell yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, I was telling Trevor that we did it felt like a very quick year. I don't know if it felt like that for you guys.
They just go faster and faster, though.
We did
Goes by.
2 shows together this year.
Yeah.
Just super random.
We all did?
Yeah.
We did the forum, which was more of like a
Oh,
quick,
the
a quick
Nashville thing. That was fun.
and then Nashville.
That was super fun this summer.
Nashville was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't feel like the same year to me. I don't know about you guys.
It does move quick, man. I mean, you guys were productive during COVID, but during COVID, I was depressed. That's what I did during COVID. Yeah. And I don't know about, I had to find hobbies. I never really had hobbies before COVID. And that was one big
I think that was one of the only times I was depressed in my life.
Yeah, I had a hard time
one of
too,
the
for
only
sure.
times you were depressed?
Yeah. You don't have a purpose.
I wish I could say the same.
You work so hard to get your job, which is your dream, and then you don't have a purpose.
You're like, is it ever coming back? Our show's just done.
What do I do?
Yeah,
You realize you had no plan B.
What hobbies did you pick up? Are you still doing them now?
Yeah, man. I do yoga maybe like 4 or 5 times a week.
There we go.
It's been one of my favorite things that
That's
came
awesome.
out of that for sure. It's just the need to stretch out, during
Yeah.
that time we were stuck in the house. But I love doing it, and I read a lot more now.
Okay, sweet.
A lot more.
That's
It helps
awesome.
with writing, I think.
Oh, that makes sense. That's true. Yeah, I don't really read very often, to be honest, but the few times that I do, like, I feel really inspired to write, like, immediately after.
Right?
So, yeah, I get that. Do you guys write? Do you guys read a lot?
I'm trying to start reading again.
Okay.
But I read nonfiction, so is that as inspiring?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is
for sure.
nonfiction.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
You brought a book here. What
I
do you
have
got
one
here?
that I take
What
to
do
the
you-
gym. I try to do routines when I actually am home. This is the longest I'll be home all year. I know you guys can relate. December is,
the slow season.
the slow season. Like go grocery shopping and stuff. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
But and then I try to make a routine that I can actually follow because we never get a chance to do that. So I go to the gym in the morning and I start with the bike. I bring one of the books that I'm reading and I run for like 20 minutes. Then I get on the bike. And honestly, it stimulates my day so much better when I've just like started with those 2 things.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, way better.
That's a good way to
And
do
then
it.
go to the studio and still maybe not write something great.
At least you're doing something healthy, though. Get
Yeah.
started. Yeah.
But just finished this album, man. So that's
Oh, yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, tell us about the album Motel California.
Yes, sir.
I was
Let's
listening
go.
to the single, and to me, it's almost like surfer psychedelic. Right? It's almost like more rock than you normally do, right?
You know, I grew up playing in a punk band. That's how I got started.
That's sick.
So when Drew Barrymore hit, it was kind of random. If you listen back on my catalog, it's not all, one sound really, I guess. But I've always liked punk rock music and incorporating that sound. So now that I'm free, I left the label a year ago.
Hell yeah.
So I got to put together the album that I never got to put out before. Because when I had a hit before I even had enough records to make an album. Mm-hmm. So when Drew Barrymore took off, I was like, I just put every song out that I had.
Oh, right.
I didn't even get to
Curate
make it a passion
thing.
project or anything,
Right.
which in some ways is good because you don't have time to ruminate. But this was now the opportunity. So I've just been working on it for the last year.
Yeah, it's when you don't have a cohesive body of work versus you have these songs and then you're like, do the fans even care anymore? But then as an artist, you want it to be art.
Let me tell you something. That feeling never goes away from me. Every single year, every single tour, because I lived so much of my life without really anybody caring. I didn't get signed until I was 29. So now I'm always convinced that there's nobody showing up to the show. So I'm always pleasantly surprised when there's anybody
Imposter
there.
syndrome sort of situation. Right.
Especially after COVID. Again, it was, you don't know if people are going to come back or if they're going to stick with you. And now that I see that I have this community, this fan base that'll kind of follow along and be part of the journey, I would like to say it goes away. That I think people aren't going to show up, but it doesn't.
Well, even though it's probably like not a great feeling, it probably keeps you humble though.
It keeps you
know what I mean?
grounded for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
You got to be like, open to the idea of it. It could just go away tomorrow, and you got to be grateful for it every day. So I get that.
You got to think like that all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
We're very blessed to be able to do what we do, and so many people want to make music for a living. We were just talking in the car on the way here, how there didn't used to be a middle class for music. It was either you were broke and you were working, or you had made it.
Yeah.
Right.
And now you can live and survive on your own terms making music, and that didn't used to exist. So that's pretty cool.
I was reading recently they have these studies and stats where over 50% of the music now is independent.
Really?
And
wow.
that's way up from where it was before. So I was in my head, I'm like, where is the industry going? Is it just going to be a bunch of majors that own distribution companies, or is it just going to be a revolution where they have to reinvent themselves to like keep the money flowing? I don't know.
The music industry is notorious for being slow to follow the trends. I look at now kind of how YouTube era was when YouTube artists first started emerging. Now we have TikTok and artists are emerging from that. But you can't get too locked into that because then you don't build a real fan base. It's the same with YouTube. I remember when people were, becoming YouTube artists. So it's very much in that. It repeats itself, it seems like. Where it's heading next, you don't know. It takes one app to change everything.
Yeah.
You're like,
literally,
people,
the entire business is switched.
oh my gosh.
But it seems way harder to convince an artist to want to sign one of these 4-album major label deals where you get a royalty and when we first started, distribution companies with budgets didn't exist. You could put it on TuneCore, but they're not going to give you any money to make the art with.
Right.
Now they will.
And you would think more people would be. I mean, the thing is though, like a lot of people, they end up signing though when they get that big song to these major labels. Like unfortunately, because they get in these bad situations. But like, name a big TikTok song that for somebody that didn't end up signing. They kind of all end up right? You think?
That'd be an interesting thing to find out.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
but what I think is the people that saw the money coming in before they signed, a lot of times they don't sign.
Right.
They have leverage.
Like
Yeah,
Allow.
Exactly.
I think Mike from the Hotel Ugly guy is independent,
Right.
and all those songs are just like TuneCore or whatever distributions.
It's like if you have a viral song and it really pops up on Spotify and you see the monthly checks, you're like, hold on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sign.
Let me wait a couple
Do I
of
wanna keep this
months.
up?
Yeah, you're not so rushed for a big check for sure. Yeah, that's great. Have you heard of this guy? He's a Russian dude called Morgenstern.
No.
Morgan's
What does it sound like?
It's amazing. Like the videos are incredible.
Like high budget or just creative?
They must be because they look like they're extremely high budget. But he's coming out kind of like he's like the first breakout Russian rapper, and he's got tattoos on his face, and he looks like a Batman villain.
Oh, sick.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
You should definitely listen to him.
Hell yeah.
Is it in English or is it in Russian?
A lot of it's just in Russian, but it's hard, bro. It's hard, and it's fun to find. I don't get excited about a lot of new artists, to be honest. You know?
I get that.
It's very hard. Like, I think the last time I was really excited about somebody was Dominic Fike.
Yeah.
Oh, he's super dope.
He kind of has a similar sound to you, I feel like.
I can see that. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten your kind of Cudi-esque? Kid Cudi?
Comparison.
Oh yeah, yeah, a bunch of times. You know, everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
You know, that I think you sound like. I accept it.
But I'm
probably
more
part of
curious,
it.
when you were coming up, I feel like one of the hardest things is finding your sound. Did you have someone in your, this is my Mount Rushmore, this is my GOAT? Because you said you were in a punk band, but then if you listen to your new music, it's almost folky.
I call it new Americana.
Surf rock, Americana, yeah.
Yeah, Cudi was one of the first rappers that mixed the hip hop genre with pop.
Yeah,
Like,
because you don't
maybe-
really consider yourself a rapper.
Nah.
Yeah,
I just don't consider it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just anything that boxes you in like makes me a little
Yeah, uncomfortable.
squeamish. Yeah.
You-
Right.
You're
Like I
scared
told
of
you,
commitment.
the middle seat on the plane makes
Yeah.
me squeamish. But Cudi was definitely one of them. Kanye too. You know, at that same era when they were blending that stuff. I'm trying to think who else. I tell people this, but most people don't know or don't care. But Third Eye Blind is like my favorite band of all time.
Oh, sick.
Legends.
Really? Okay, good man. Yeah.
It kind of makes
They made
sense
me
though
wanna be
with your
songwriters.
new stuff. I was listening to Motel California and the lyrics almost sounded emo. Was that on purpose?
Yeah.
Because it's almost the opposite of, oh, California is so great. There's a sea of sharks.
It's a warning.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if you did that on purpose. If it was more.
Yeah, it's a warning. The whole album it takes place in this motel, and each room is a different one of the songs, and it's kind of the experience that you go through figuring out who you are and what you want to do in this business, and then ending up right back in the same room and having to restart that process. And it's definitely a warning. That song specifically is, I've grew up in LA. I've seen rise and falls of everybody, you know, people that you have heard of and people that you haven't. So seeing that my entire life, the drugs that get in the way, the partying that gets in the way, the ego that gets in the way, it helps you understand what to avoid a lot and what's actually important about what we get to do for a living.
Yeah, because you grew up in Cali.
Yeah, grew up in Hollywood and a town called Thousand Oaks. I went to high school.
Oh, we know Thousand Oaks.
Dude, didn't you go to like Westlake?
I did.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Legend.
Was that a high
Warriors,
school?
Dude, Warriors.
Represent.
This guy's Oaks Christian over
Yeah,
here.
right down the street.
For real? You went to
just
Oaks?
Right down the street from Warriors. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
No way. I didn't know that. How did I not know that? Yeah, we
Yeah,
were right down the
crazy, dude.
street.
Used to kick it at the Jan's Marketplace. back
Jan's
in the
Market,
day.
the Promenade, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
the Promenade was sick,
Wow.
dude, on Fridays.
I feel like
So your high
kids
school's in the
don't
same
go out
area
like
or
that.
what?
Right down, literally right across the street.
How did we not meet?
My first girlfriend ever, she went to high school at Westlake.
What was
and
her
I used
name?
Hunter McGrady.
You dated Hunter?
Yeah.
No.
What the hell?
Before
I
she
never
got-
met her, no.
Before, yeah.
Bryce was like, I
I
dated
just
her
follow her on
first.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Bryce definitely
Before she
dated her
got bigger,
first.
but-
No way. I had
Yeah.
no idea. It's so funny, man. I think about what high school must be like now.
Oh, it's probably
For,
crazy.
oh my
dude.
god, dude! To have like famous kids at your high school who are influencers,
Yeah.
that must be nuts. When I was in high school, it was just the only people that you really knew were the ones around you. You know, you didn't have so much access to the outside world, and
Yeah.
now it's like, God, it would be too much. I think it would be a little too much.
Did you have a lot of like celebrities' kids in your school?
No, Westlake wasn't like that when I grew up there. I know it's come a long way, but it was kind of, it was just like a pretty normal, nice town. Yeah.
Nice.
Hollywood is where I, grew up mostly as a kid. So going to Westlake was like, there's no sirens at night, and
Yeah,
You
big
know,
difference.
I could walk to school. It was a weird transition for sure, and it's only a 45-minute drive, and the difference is crazy.
We'll stay in Hollywood for a couple of days, and we're just stressed. Like we need to get out of here.
Man.
I can't imagine growing up there. I always look at the high schools in Hollywood, and I'm like, who lets their kids go to these
Dude.
schools?
You know, Anthony, the guy from Red Hot Chili Peppers, went to Fairfax High
Calidas.
School. Yeah, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
I used to always want to go to Fairfax.
He talks about all Hollywood in the 90s and
Yeah,
scar tissue.
different time, dude.
Yeah.
Nah, it is crazy.
Yeah, 'cause- Oh, that's the Eagles. I'm thinking. So like the Eagles, Hotel California. Was that like inspiration at all for Motel California?
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
'Cause the
Nothing
hotel-
gets past you.
Yeah, because Hotel California. I don't know all the lyrics in Hotel California, but when you listen to it, you're like, oh, I just want to go to Cali. And when you listen to Motel, you're like, Motel. I don't like. You can feel that it's a little emo or like a little sad or like you
Warning,
said, it's a
right.
warning. Like
I just try to speak from my experiences and what I see most of the time. And again, having grown up there in California, you see a lot of rise and falls. So it's impossible to look at it with so much glamour,
yeah, when you're in it.
you know?
Have you seen a big change in LA? Because I saw a lot of change
Oh, yeah.
for being there 10 years. I think me and Trevor moved there like 2012. And from 2012 to 2020 and 24,
Yeah.
it's changed a lot.
BC and AC before COVID and after COVID.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I think the fact that people move there to be in the industry, and now the industry is so vast, because it doesn't just mean music, acting, modeling. It means influencers and you know, TikTokers and people who are you could be famous for a lot more things than you used to be able to. And sometimes people get famous really young, and then before they've actually had a chance to ground themselves, they have all this access to the world. And I don't know if that's a great thing. It's fun, but I don't know if it's good for you.
Yeah. You see it with a lot of child actors. They're like messed
no.
up.
TikTokers or whatever.
Yeah. You
Just anybody young, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want everybody to enjoy themselves and have fun. It's just
Gotta be careful.
there's
Balance.
lessons you're supposed to learn along the way that if you skip that, it always comes back around.
What do
Right.
you mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you, like, give me an example.
Well, I guess I'll just talk about the partying part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're
it's
in high
always
school,
there.
Imagine, I can't, because I grew up in Missouri, so there wasn't, ecstasy wasn't around. Like maybe you could find weed if you're lucky. I had some kids in my school that did acid, but it wasn't, nobody was partying like that. It was very chill. And I imagine in Hollywood, somebody has something, I don't know, Kevin, you probably know.
Yeah, I mean, usually people have things in Hollywood. Like it is.
Way to out Kevin.
I learned Special K. I used to call my friend Special K. His name was
I'm just saying you
Christian.
know about it.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I wouldn't even know what Special K is in high school.
Yeah, see, exactly. I didn't know.
Like whether
but,
you're doing
you
it or
run
not,
out
I'm not saying Kevy's a drug addict. I'm saying he knows about it. His like people he's around.
there. Yeah,
Must be weird.
Different come up.
it is different.
Yeah, I've never tried cocaine, but people still seem to think that I'm selling it. Almost every time I go out, they ask me.
Really?
Somebody asked me, if they could get a bump off me.
You think just based off of the look or just the songs? Because
I
you,
don't know,
I
guess
think some of your
look
lyrics,
a little shady, you know.
yeah, I think some of the lyrics might mention cocaine. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's just all the things I've seen. Like, I think a big part in not trying any of that stuff, not that I judge anybody who does, is just, again, seeing what it did to people from a young age, you know, because people do it too much really
It's not
quickly.
even fun anymore.
Yeah.
I had a friend, one of my best friends since high school, started with drinking and moved on to pills and moved on to everything else. And before we knew it, a couple of years later, he's homeless, living downtown in a halfway house, strung out on heroin.
Oh,
and it
no.
doesn't happen to everybody. But when you've seen it, it's hard to ignore. You know,
Right.
he detoxed at my apartment when I'm making music while he's sleeping on my bed for 24 hours. And it's so when I go to talk about something in a song, I can't pretend like this is all fun and games. I have
Right.
proof right behind me. He's fine now.
That's good.
That's good.
He's a father of 2.
Wow.
But yeah, sorry if it's getting depressing, guys. It's
Oh
just-
no, dude.
But
Hear
yeah,
about
the
it
whole
all.
album is kind of all the different series that you go through when you move to a town like LA, and you have a goal in mind, especially in entertainment. Everything that can happen. You could fall in love, you can get your heart broken, you party a little too much and have to reel yourself back in. You have some success and then it levels out and you have to be able to reconcile with that and then start that whole process over again, which is kind of what I did when I left the label. And I don't even have any bad things to say about the label. I know there's so much controversy about it.
Yeah, I think it's just more like pros and cons. Like even when we've been independent for what, 4 or 5 years now,
That long?
Yeah.
and even we do distribution deals,
yeah.
so they're more just partnerships. But even the first one that we did, the company we worked with was great budget, but you're running it through your own company. So all of a sudden you're just there's way more responsibilities than you were doing before. You're like, oh, this is actually a little bit more stressful. Oh, like something didn't get uploaded right. Oh, like
Yeah.
which would have never
the
happened.
safety net is removed for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you guys have been doing it for long enough and clearly made it work. You never stop working.
That's the best part about being independent. It's like, oh, I can put out a song every 3 weeks if I want.
And that didn't used to exist. I guess that's why I mean about the middle ground of the entertainment industry where you can really make it for yourself now, because it used to be you had to be signed for
Yep.
anyone to hear you.
Yeah.
And now we have so many outlets.
What are the
That's
major
great.
pros and cons that you feel from having left the label? Anything stand out to you?
Because you were making it seem like you couldn't
good
have
question.
made this album necessarily on major, like at least how you wanted to make it.
Creatively, do you feel more free?
I don't know that they really held me back, and I've heard people say that. Again, I could only speak from personal experience, and I guess what I saw after COVID was just there's very few people that get the attention of the label because they're making the money. It's a business after all. But business and art, they need to have some kind of middle ground. And when you don't have that, it's just, if you have to do TikTok for the label to pay attention, that forces every artist to be an extrovert. And one of the coolest things about artists is that a lot of them are kind of mysterious and not extroverted, because they see life from a different perspective, and that goes for every kind of art, for painting, for actors, for music. It's and then you got to compete with all the other kinds of media. It's not just competing with other artists now. You're competing with, somebody who's just rating food, and you're competing with a girl who just does this, and she has big tits. So it's like,
Yeah, that's
I'm
not
like,
fair.
that
That's
should
not
be
fair at all.
That should be getting lots of views, but I shouldn't be trying to. I'm never gonna
Compete
with that.
Yeah, my tits aren't as
History
nice.
has told
Let's
us
be real.
that you're never gonna win over a girl with big tits doing a dance. But
I think there's definitely been times where I've been frustrated because I was naive getting into this, thinking you make it to a certain point, you get signed, and a team of people just tell you what to do. And that never really happened for us. I don't know how you guys feel.
I never really thought about it like that. No, but
I just thought, I'm just saying, like, from the outside in, growing up in Missouri, you see a star, you see a professional musician full time, you just assume they have people telling them exactly what to do.
right, just having more of like a well-oiled machine,
A
of
plan,
a team, as
like even
opposed to
just a plan. It's
Right,
like,
right.
no, you got to make the plan.
Yeah, you're the guy. Come on, we gotta figure. we gotta figure this out ourselves, guys. Yeah.
yeah, you definitely see what you're capable of and what you have to.
I think it used to happen like
achieve
that,
it.
though.
Yeah, for
I think
sure.
the ACDCs of the world, they got to a point, they got signed, and someone was like, all right.
Well, yeah, for sure.
They
There wasn't
had to
social
have
media.
been.
Yeah, 'cause
there
some
was
those
like
guys
money.
were so strung out and just being rock stars, and
Yeah, they
they had the album and they had the tour. It was like that's what you did.
Yeah.
You
But-
toured. You were a rock star. If there was a camera around, cool. If not, I don't. They weren't caring. It was like
Yes.
they didn't have to upload everything, stuff or tweet or do videos or do whatever every day. So like you're saying, they could just be mysterious, do their thing, work on music. and then play it live.
Do you kind of miss that? Like, are you sad
Of course,
that you weren't a part?
Everybody wants that. That was like the golden era.
Yeah, that's like the coolest
With
era
just
of
millions
all.
of album sales, and you're just
Yeah.
chilling. You're just going out. Of course, that's amazing. But that's why it's like it's so competitive and it's spread, way more thin now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because there's so many more people that get to be artists, which is great. But it is more competitive, so it's a weird sort of, pros and cons.
And I'm sure if you read any biography of any artist, you see that they were going to make it because they had self-determination for sure. Even I was reading Dave Grohl's book. That's a hot controversy too.
Oh yeah.
I was reading Dave Grohl's book, and he was just talking about how Kurt Cobain was in his room every single night when they lived in a studio apartment together, always writing, always working on something, even when he was fucked up. So you wonder, it's like part of it is luck and natural talent, but a lot of it is also how much work you're willing to do.
For sure.
I don't know the controversy, by the way.
Dave Grohl, he got some chick, not his wife, pregnant.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine if there was controversy over him getting his wife pregnant?
His wife.
I'd be so confused about cancel culture.
Yeah.
I'd be like, wait, is that not
Yeah.
a good thing
Anything
anymore?
can get you canceled now.
I
We
think
don't say congratulations to them?
Yeah.
I think cancel culture is kind of over, though.
You think cancel culture is canceled?
I think it's canceled.
Wow.
I
I don't know
it's
if it's quite
definitely
there. It's definitely getting.
But my reason for saying that is because everything creative now, you kind of have to do yourself. And because of that, more people know how to make it themselves. So then it's harder to shut down. It's like you could cancel me and like,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
maybe
fair.
some of the venues will cancel some of our shows. But it's like, you can't stop this. You can't stop us uploading to Spotify.
Yeah, it's hard to think of. I mean, maybe there's examples you guys can think of, but people that have gotten canceled that continued on to just keep going and still continued to be canceled. I feel like people that have gotten canceled that just kept going, go.
Louis C.K. sold out in Madison Square Garden.
Did he?
Oh, he's
What?
back
Recently?
Yeah, it was like a year or two ago.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I think comedians especially can get
Yeah,
away
that's
with
your
it.
job.
Right, yeah.
That's
They're
your
meant to be
job.
fucking
Too tough on
dark and
comedians.
And it depends on what you did.
yeah,
Let's-
for sure.
Let's be very clear about that.
Yeah,
It depends
absolutely.
on what you did. Diddy, I don't think is going to get out of it.
No, he's not. He's not getting out of
I
that
think
one.
he could
That
just
boy is canceled.
hit his way.
Yeah.
out.
Well,
But
He's stuck in there for.
you can pretty much hit your way out of any situation though. Like,
Well, that's what
look
that's
at
what
Chris
I,
Brown.
when I say like canceled.
Oh.
I think it's like you're losing your career for something you did that isn't illegal. That's like the cancel culture, right? If you commit a crime, then you should go to jail and like
Right,
like,
that's right. I guess that's the difference when you compare Diddy versus whoever, because he's going to jail. He did terrible shit. Versus like somebody being canceled for something that's like, okay, that was fucked, but
I'm saying like yeah,
are they a terrible person? I'm not
You're
sure.
canceled for,
not
like,
It
necessarily-
got to the point where some of the I think we got a lot of the people, right? We got
I
a
think
lot
we got
of
'em.
them.
Yeah.
Diddy was like the cream of the crop. We got rid of all the baby oil and everything. But some of the things that I hear, I'm just like, it just sounds like a bad date. You know?
yeah. Do you guys think there's something deeper with the Diddy thing though? As far as people think it's more of an Epstein for Hollywood and the music industry, like some blackmail. He's got everything. He puts them, it's like, oh, I hired a bunch of prostitutes at my party. Don't worry, they're all hot, and they end up being underage or something. Gotcha.
Wait, what's the question?
Saying is, do you think that the P Diddy thing is like some deeper
Like he's
Epstein?
blackmailing
Yeah,
people.
He's blackmailing people for power.
Probably. Yeah. There's got to be some higher ups that are connected for sure.
You think Jay-Z's connected?
I have no idea. No idea. I'd be totally making a speculation if I said yes, he is.
Just totally.
totally pulling out of my
And here's
ass.
how I know.
Yeah. Clip that. Make it go. Yeah. No, I have no
I was
idea.
with him in the room.
Yeah. Saw some wild shit.
It is wild though how
Covered in baby oil.
Yeah.
he was so connected, like he just knew everyone. Me and Kevy were at a party that Diddy was at. It wasn't a Diddy party.
Yep.
He was just in attendance.
He was in attendance. It was supposed to be him and French Montana's birthday party or something, wasn't it?
I think so. At Hoodie's house.
But he just walked through and just dapped everybody up and just left.
Yep.
It wasn't his party.
It's
But you're just like, it's interesting. You're like a huge musician and you just know everybody. You know Leo, every big model, it's like,
And he had tapes. Isn't it known that he had tapes though?
yeah.
So that's weird too. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's blackmail for sure. Yeah.
I think the whole rap culture of things is starting to die a little bit because it's so negative.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and you know, country obviously is having its moment.
For sure.
Every genre does, but it's so much more of a positive environment. So much more. Even on the last tour, I had this 19-year-old videographer that we'd never had out with us before, and before that, he was on a rapper's tour that got shot up.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And he's 19, man. He just wants to be a videographer. So coming out with us, he was so relieved and so happy. And I feel like, yeah, young working professionals don't want to have their lives in danger just to be part of something. And it seems like that culture is dying a little bit with popularity.
Yeah, big time. One of our tour managers is he works with Dirk quite a bit, and he's going through all that murder for hire trial stuff right now. He's locked up. It's like
he gets shot at when they're on tour.
He's been on tour with them when they've gotten shot at, and all sorts of crazy things happen. It's like, dude, that's scary
a
stuff.
lot.
You got to pay me. You got to pay me extra for that.
Yeah,
And
scary.
it's
scary
crazy.
Stuff.
You're not working in drugs. You don't work for the cartel. You're just rhyming. You know, you're just there's a beat and you rhyme on it, and then all of a sudden it causes all this. That's too much stress. I'll just go la 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 la.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, none of your songs are about killing
I
anybody.
also didn't grow up with that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I mean, I saw not good things growing up, but you know, wasn't born into that.
And I don't know if this says more about the music industry, where you look at it and you're like, oh, these people make so much money, but we have a good relationship with Fetty, and he has hit songs, so many hit songs, and then you find out later he's selling fentanyl, like he's selling drugs.
Allegedly.
Yeah, what?
Well, I'm saying he went to jail for it. And it's like,
I don't know what the deal is, but I'm not sure. But
it's like, what? I thought
he
the
went to jail
idea
for it allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly.
I don't know.
No, he's literally in jail right now. Allegedly.
Did he plead guilty?
I
Or
don't
not?
think it's alleged. But I'm saying I thought the idea is, okay, get successful off of music and then get out. But a lot of different artists and rappers, they stay in.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
it's like confusing why.
Just deep rooted.
It's part of
Yeah.
the
Part of their culture.
the culture, and it's part of what made them big was being ingrained in that.
Yeah.
But like Fetty Wap, you think? I mean, obviously Trap
know.
Queen.
17.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I don't
what it's
know.
about, isn't it?
He's on Save That Money. I just think he could have gotten out.
Right. Well, I mean, of course, yeah. You always hope that everyone.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Doesn't-
that, though. You know, the Young Thug and 6ix9ine, and there's a lot of these guys that have been involved in.
Yeah, it's like
multiple
6ix9ine's.
things. You can take somebody out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of them just because you make them famous and rich.
Yeah.
That's true. Not always. Yeah.
But I think maybe part of it too is the money isn't what they were sold. And you think, I have 5 top 10 hits, and you're thinking, I'm set for life. And then you're Fetty Wap and you're like, wait, I'm not? What the hell?
Yeah, I think people would be surprised to find out how much musicians actually make. If you have a hit when you're independent, you're golden. And I think Shabuzi's in that situation. You know, I think he owns the master for
Oh, does he?
Tipsy.
Bar Song. Yeah,
And it's
Crazy.
number
But-
1 for what? He just broke the record.
Yeah, 20 weeks.
but
or
if you
something.
don't, depending on your deal, it's not necessarily what's going to make or break you, but it allows access to all the things that will. You know,
Yeah, certain
because I
songs
had a
people
hit
think-
like Drew Barrymore and then La La Land, it was like cool. College opened up for me, you know. And like 6 years now, I've been one of the most booked college artists, and that would not have happened if those songs obviously hadn't got as big as they were. Even if I didn't make money on them, they've much. I mean, I still did, but they've much more paid themselves back with the things that
opening up the doors.
opening up. And our song "Stay" I play like every tour
Yeah.
now.
Hell
dude.
yeah.
The fans fucking love that song.
Let's go.
They love that song.
That's amazing.
You know how I wrote that? Did I ever tell you?
Oh yeah, you guys were like in a hotel, right? Or
We
in
were-
Miami?
We were in Miami, yeah, in 2019 maybe, and we got an Airbnb, and we're gonna be there for a week to write. And we spent maybe 2 of those days writing, and the rest of it was just partying. It was, it was the first time I really was experiencing what it was like to enjoy yourself as, someone with hits on the radio. And and the night before we were supposed to leave, it's like 4 a.m. I'm hammered, and JP just starts singing, I gotta leave, but I want to stay.
That's
And
great.
I'm like, take another shot for the memory. It's the most fun thing is when those moments happen where you really are living in a situation, come up with something, and it becomes something, and you guys made it a great song. So
I love that
always
story.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
great.
We got to perform it twice this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Could
pushed
do
our
more.
flight back maybe 4 or 5 times before we actually
Did
wrote
you?
that song. Yeah.
Miami can do that. Miami's an awesome place.
Have you ever been to Art Basel?
Yep.
Basel?
Yeah, we
Basel?
I
Yeah.
went once, yeah. It's cool. Crazy place, dude.
It's funny how LA moves, man, because it cosplays. Like the entire city just cosplays the different environments. Oh, LA's going to Coachella now. Now we're all going to dress, vagabondy. And now LA's going to Miami, and we're all going to
That's so
spruce
true.
up. And
The city just goes places together.
dude, the whole city. It's like a Simpsons episode. It just
You see everyone you just
always see
saw
the
at the
same
club in LA.
people. Yep.
If you just hop
Yeah.
to like the 3 biggest cities in the country or like 4, you just run into the same people.
For
Yeah.
different events, fashion weeks,
You're like, I thought
now
there was
we're
supposed to be-
fashionable
Like, everyone's
LA.
going to Italy right now. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah. Okay, now we're Italian LA.
Yeah. That's so funny, dude. That's so true. Never thought about it like that.
But it is, I guess the reason I talk about it so much, aside from living there for so long, is it does feel like LA feels like it's at the forefront of culture so much of the time. So much history, so many interesting things have happened there. People still consider it to be the place that you go, that you have to stop through if you're going to make it, if you have the skin thick enough to do so.
For sure.
And you can, it really tests your ADD as well, because there's always something going on. So if you can be grounded in a place like LA, then you can pretty much go anywhere. I guess that's why it's still so fascinating to me.
You think it'll change? Kevin thinks cinema's dead.
Yeah, I think cinema is
I
good.
think it dies and then it comes back.
Because there was a bunch of...
Will you watch movies, Bryce?
Yeah.
Do I watch movies?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
In
man.
theaters?
Yeah, I go to the theater sometimes.
What was the last movie in theaters you watched?
Sonic 3.
I saw a movie called Is It Racist?
Or Am I Racist?
Am I Racist?
Okay.
Oh, is that the
It
one
was
with
a guy from YouTube
Yeah.
Matt
that a lot
Walsh.
of people don't like, but
Matt Walsh.
my mom wanted to see it, so she thought it would be interesting. And
So hold on. This is kind of interesting. This is like funny, actually. Your mom was like, "Hey, Bryce, come see this movie." Did you know what the movie was like beforehand?
I knew it was a documentary. I didn't
Yeah.
know
Oh, it's a documentary.
any controversy about the dude or
It's like a
Yeah, it's a
prank, though,
documentary.
right? Isn't it a prank?
No, it's like a.
it kind of takes the
Borat.
model.
Yes.
But-
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He hires all these like DEI people. That's like their job, and then
DEI, what?
like diversity, equity, inclusion people,
okay.
and then he'll ask them. But he has this one. I saw like the one viral clip. I thought it was funny because this lady who's supposed to be a specialist or whatever. He's like, yeah, my daughter's really into Moana, but like I feel weird if she wants to dress up as Moana for Halloween.
Oh yes.
And then she's like, oh, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And then he's like, so now what do I don't know. It's just like,
It was a good point, actually. I like to see things that make me a little uncomfortable, honestly, because I don't really lean one way or the other on the political spectrum.
but like, why was like your mom so excited to watch it?
She was just interested. And my mom's the same way. She made me that way. She said, whenever people present you with 2 options, ask what the third is.
I like that.
I like
So-
that. That's nice.
She is always open to
Both sides.
being uncomfortable and finding out new information. And my parents are very unique people too. My mom's like a gun owner, but she was an actress for many years in Hollywood.
She grew up in LA.
Yeah, sorry. She grew up in Inglewood, New Jersey.
That's kind of
in
wild because I
New
think
York.
New Jersey has horrible gun laws.
Well, she comes from a different time, man. She remembers the Frank Lucas era of New York, and that was the American Gangster guy, the real
Oh,
guy.
okay.
Yeah.
And when black people, especially, were just dying left and right from crack addiction, so she saw that era as a kid and got so scared of any drug. She's never tried a drug in her life, and she kind of, I don't know where I'm going with this.
No, it's good to know like where you came from, like where your mom came from.
She's very unique. She's the kind of person that was solo for a long time. She's remarried now as of like 2 years ago. But I saw her pretty much just be a parent and an actress for 15 years in Hollywood without ever, and she was a model for a while and never tried any drugs and never, she was always a parent first. It was the most important thing to her. So I grew up with that model, and that everybody was welcome in our house, like every ethnicity, every kind of person at any time of day. If they needed a place to go, she was always willing to have kids at the house. So that made me, very scared, fearful of drugs. In fact, the first time that when I started smoking weed, I had a hit song on the radio, and I told her
that's when you started?
Yeah.
Oh, so you never smoked weed before that?
I had tried it a couple times, but I didn't really,
Well, there you go, kid. There you go, kids. You don't need drugs to get a hit song.
There
You heard it here first.
Sure, whatever. But yeah, I told her that I was like, hey, I got this song on the radio. I just want to tell you, weed helped a lot. She didn't talk to me for 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so she was strict about some things, but not about the other. But she made me fearful of those things, which I'm grateful for now. A healthy fear. And 2, she made everybody welcome, so I just had friends of all varieties, from all backgrounds my entire life. And always want everyone to feel welcome at the show. I've had Muslim fans standing next to kids with Trump hats on for real, and realize that this was something they had in common, and that's what I can be. I'll just be something everybody that's a fan has in common, and not say anything that I don't really have all the information about to form an opinion.
It's so weird that people follow actors, like professional liars.
They don't,
as their opinion
they
for like
don't,
political.
And we kind of saw that.
Didn't really work.
We saw that with this last election. I'm not. Yeah.
I think when you're like beating people over the head with it, it just becomes annoying. Like, no one's listening to your album for a specific political opinion,
Nah, man.
So it's like if you were just trying to like subvert
But that
it.
doesn't stop a lot of people from
Yeah.
talking out of their ass, and there's just too much going on in the world, and we have too much access to too many different opinions and too much speculation, and people who want to sway you in a direction. And it's bad to get too deep into it.
Well, you need some sort of escape from it. If it's all the time, if you're like, okay, I'm watching the news, okay, obviously, I'm watching YouTube, okay, but you can't watch football or music without politics, and then you really feel like you're going crazy.
Yeah,
like where do I
you need
go?
a break from it. It can't be everything. It can't be your entire identity either. I don't think so. It would be stressful. It would be stressful and I'm not afraid to be wrong about stuff, so I'll have an opinion that will change.
Yeah.
That's all right too.
I don't know.
You're allowed to have opinions that change.
When we got this idea that our ideas and our thoughts is like who we are, instead of just, oh no, I'm just trying this idea out. You know what I mean? Like maybe this is the best way to set up our economy. Let's try it out. If it's not, sorry, I was wrong. Let's try something different. It doesn't mean like you're an asshole like forever. That's who you are. It's like I was just interested in Bernie Sanders' economic plan. I thought I just haven't heard it before. I was like, let's try it. Something that seems like maybe it'll work better.
It's a shame because it's more polarizing here, especially for young people, like especially college students. It's more polarizing here than it is, for obviously anywhere else, and it's because it's our economy. But I went to Africa like about a month and a half ago for 2 weeks because I'd never been there, and I wanted to see what life was like over there to get a little perspective. And I traveled 3 hours outside of Nairobi to some tribe called the Maasai. They're all over the country of Kenya, but this one was really out there. And you get out of the car and these people have nothing. There's no electricity. It stinks because they measure their wealth in cows. So they just have a bunch of cows running around that shit everywhere, and a bunch of goats that run around and shit everywhere. And they get their milk from the guy, milked a goat. And
nice.
And we ate a goat.
Gotta get your hands dirty,
But even there, even in a place that far out, one of the guys, the younger guy who spoke English, he wanted Kamala to win.
Oh,
and
God.
the chief wanted Trump to win.
So they're just
And I'm
talking.
like, what?
is happening right
How
now?
do you guys even have an opinion on this?
Yeah, that's so funny.
You know, but they live in the same tribe and they think it's funny.
Yeah.
A little bit. They think it's a little
Entertainment,
funny.
you know?
At least it's like
Something
funny.
to
Yeah.
discuss.
They just look at us like we're the entertainers of the world, I guess. But I think what frustrated me is, America is such a big country. And there's 50 states, and obviously our local politicians are going to impact us more. But so it's just weird that everyone's so at each other's necks.
How'd you get set up with going out and visiting a tribe and stuff? Do you have to like know a guy that knows the tribe, or how does that even work?
Yeah, a friend of mine went to college with a guy who he went to Kenya and loved the people, so he started a company called Sky Inn. I'll plug them. And they do a really in-depth excursion where I stay with an African family, and you cook with them and do different things through the 2-week period. You spend a couple days in Mombasa, which is on the coast, which is a beautiful area, and but all throughout it, you learn so much, and you realize how lucky we are to have been born where we are, and that in the grand scheme of things, we are not that oppressed. We are just not that oppressed.
Yeah,
Right.
for
2
sure.
weeks before I went to Kenya, and this is not a happy story. I'm sorry I have to tell it. 2 weeks before I went to Kenya, there was a protest outside of Parliament where a bunch of students didn't want to pay such high taxes, and they gunned them all down. And that was 2 weeks before I got there. And then you compare that to some of the problems that we hear about in the U.S., where people feel like, this is such an oppressive country. And I just really want them to, not that their problems don't matter, just
Perspective.
have perspective. That's why I went there, and I came back with some of it.
So this was in Kenya, right?
Yeah, this was in Kenya.
That's insane. Yeah, like we just think, we can protest. We have freedom of speech, and we forget that almost every other country, even the UK, they don't even have it in the Constitution.
They don't?
No,
I didn't know
people
that.
get locked up for memes in the UK. Swear.
No way.
Swear.
In the UK?
Yep.
And that is, besides us, the most first
Yeah,
world.
yeah. So, but yeah, like what you're saying though with perspective is just a lot of it's even just the development, like the infrastructure.
Oh, man. I mean, sheet metal buildings everywhere, and there's homeless people everywhere. And it's not even that, in LA, I see homeless people and they're out of their mind. It's someone's freaking out while someone's eating Eggs Benedict right next to them. And there, they just don't have enough work. So they're just grown men with nowhere to go and nothing to do.
Right.
There's no options for them, and there's no benefit, that is at least put on by the government, because it's still kind of a corrupt place. It's further along than a lot of countries, but it's still pretty corrupt. And you just see what people live with, and even when you're trying to do what you would normally do when you go on vacation in Mexico, or you go to Miami or whatever, and you're taking pictures and you want to take some content, and there's a little kid tugging on your pants asking for money, and it happens every other block. So you get pulled right back into reality again.
Right.
Yeah, I think everybody should go visit, guess what you would call a third world country once,
Yeah.
for real.
And how long did you stay with the family?
2 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah, 2
Wow.
weeks. Still text them. Yeah,
That's incredible, dude.
yeah.
Wow.
But that's oh man. But we went on safaris. I'll say this: the amazing things, the things that aren't depressing about knowing what you know about Africa's history, is one, the food is fucking amazing everywhere you go. I feel like they don't sell that shit enough. It's everywhere you go. We're passing by Mount Kilimanjaro, and there's just these sheet metal shacks, and you smell what they're cooking, and it just you just know it's bomb. And I'm like, where did you do? Even in the tribe, they cooked us the goat, and they're like, oh, do you guys want to see the kitchen? And we walk in, and it's just a room. There's no stove. There's no refrigerator.
Yeah.
There's just a room. Like, how did you guys even heat this up? And they just build a fire and they cook it in its own blood, and that's the seasoning.
Wow.
It's dude, it's wild.
Did you
wild.
try anything that you haven't had before? Like any different types of animal or?
Yeah, tried ostrich. That was
Whoa.
pretty
Wow.
good.
How did it?
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's delicious. It
That's
tastes
like an Australia thing,
super
too.
soft steak. It's
Ooh,
amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
Tried ox balls. Wasn't a fan of that. Couldn't swallow it. No pun intended.
That'll make you horny.
Yeah, that'll get you going. Damn.
Oh man, tried a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of, you could see where the influence comes from of a lot of Middle Eastern culture and stuff. So they have a lot of curries.
Oh, sweet.
You probably realize how spoiled we are too, because when you go to those countries, they eat every part of the animal.
Oh
and,
yeah.
and then you try some of it and you're like, oh, it's actually pretty good. And where you're like, I'm not going to eat brains, or I'm not going to eat eyeballs or tongue. You know, like that's like a big thing. That
You know, even in the tribe, especially, they separate when they slaughter the goat. They separate all the sections depending on the ages of the people in the tribe, so that the more protein and nutrient rich stuff goes to the youngest people, so that they grow
Smart.
stronger, and the parts that are more fatty and the older people that just need to survive, those go to the
Wow.
older
Oh
people.
wow.
And the water that they drink, they have to move around. They're nomadic because they have to depend on rain for water.
Oh wow.
And you go to their watering hole and it is disgusting.
Really?
It's disgusting, yeah. But they get the water from the top of this little watering area in the middle of nothing, where only donkeys are pooping into it, and they get it in the morning so that it's less
Like
polluted,
dirty, yeah.
and they survive off that. Where if you and me drank that water, we would be sick for a week.
Oh right.
And
Wow.
it's,
yeah, we don't have
dude, there's
the,
so many interesting things.
the gut microbiome.
Yeah, it's not good for the gut microbiome. And it's so funny, especially, again, I'm not trying to insult anybody. It's just whenever I hear things, very first world things like manifest, it is real. It's totally, totally real. I believe that you can really put yourself in the mindset to be successful, and that puts you in a better position. But if you live in a tribe in Africa,
Yeah.
manifesting isn't going to bring you clean water. There's
Right.
just very real world things that we don't ever have to deal with or see, you know, and things that we say and complaints that we have that just, and I still do it. It's not like I came back from Kenya and I don't complain about simple and petty stuff. I was pissed off that I missed my first flight today. You know? And most of the people that I met had never been on an airplane.
I was so confused too, because you're my manager and everybody was like, oh, he's boarding his plane right now, and then 10 minutes later he missed his flight. I was like, how did he miss his flight?
Jet Suite, which is the easiest flight to catch.
Forgot, I'm
They
dealing-
can't
It's like
make
no
it
line.
easier.
I'm dealing with
Besides
the-
a private jet that'll wait for you. It's the easiest flight to catch, and I missed it.
This is like get him to the Greek. I'm just dealing with a rock star here and just can't
Speaking of a movie
push
we
it
can't
back.
watch anymore,
Yeah. Right.
Wait, what happened? I'm out of the loop.
P
he
Diddy's
did
in it.
all through
Oh,
that
is he?
movie.
Okay.
It's like
I've only
in a
seen the movie
hotel
like
room.
once.
He's like one of the main
Stuff.
characters.
Okay.
P Diddy, yeah, he's one
I
of
didn't
the
realize he was in
characters.
it. Okay, makes
I
sense.
think the dark side of manifesting is you just make everything about you. Like you're just the center of the universe.
Interesting.
You know, like you're
Wow.
not thinking of. It's a very selfish way if you really pull it out. Because if it's all just do what you feel good, what if you're a psychopath and it feels great to
Right, it can't apply to everyone, can
like?
it?
What if you're P Diddy and it feels great to have freak offs and you want to film them and it feels great?
Yeah.
Right.
You can't. There is there's a
a
point where it
line.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I always like the science of the manifestation, the part in your brain called the something reticulum, where if you tell it what to pay attention to, it'll focus in on that, because we're taking in so many different stimuli throughout the day. Our brain deletes things automatically without us realizing it. So if we tell it, I only want to focus on the things that'll make me successful, then your brain will delete all the nonsense that you don't need. And all of a sudden you're like,
But-
oh my God, it happened by magic.
To your point, almost also some of the things that you might be missing that are important, right? Like,
Right, yeah. Like how extreme do you need to be?
it seems like people are very concerned about who they're gonna be and not who they are
Yeah.
in that way.
Right.
You know,
That's very true.
Wow, that was bars.
That
Yeah,
was.
that was really good.
That one hit.
Deep, dude.
that's kind of what you're saying. I
Kevin
think.
needed that.
That's 100% though.
Perfect
It's
for me
true.
today.
What else? Yeah, so the album's done.
Yeah.
Is the album's done?
And I know you've been talking about the album for what, 8 to 12 months, or how longer than that?
Come on, thanks for saying that. It's been like 6 years almost. 5
Really?
years. It's been
kidding.
5 years. Yeah, it's been 5 years.
That you've been talking about it.
No, maybe I haven't been talking about it for 5 years, but it's been 5 years since I've only ever put out one album.
But
Oh, wow.
But
This is
since
your
you've like
second album
known
ever.
the title and the name of it.
No, that came a year ago when I wrote
Okay.
Motel California with my producer Jimmy. I didn't know what I was going to do next. I had left the label, and now I'm independent again, and I had left not on bad terms, but where I had really seen what it felt like going from so much attention at the label to none. I mean, the A&R that they put me with, my A&R left during COVID, which is what really happened, and the A&R that they put me with, he didn't give two shits. Not so much as posting even one of my songs on his story on Instagram. Like
He's not even like proud.
He's
Like,
not
this
even
is my
proud. And I
artist.
Yeah.
had multiple conversations with him trying to get him more involved because I keep people around, man. You know, I like to be loyal to people who've been with me forever. I've had the same manager for 10 years. My agent Josh is my best friend, and
Your tour manager Gino.
my tour manager
Gino,
Gino.
yeah,
You guys have known
Gino.
forever.
Yeah.
I like to keep people around, so I wanted him to be involved, and he just had no interest. So I saw that, so I left the label, and then I had the biggest tour that I'd ever had. So that was like a nice, you know, you go down, you go up. It's the wave.
For sure.
But then you're kind of out in the open, like we were talking about, and there's all these other things going on. There's all these other artists emerging, and I didn't know what I wanted to say next. So I just figured, I'm going to tell kind of what I've been through lately for the last few years and what I've realized. And Motel California just kind of represents that. It's that other side of the glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I really miss about the music industry is the bodies of work that have a theme and there's a through line of a story, and you can just you know, because I grew up with CDs. I had a CD changer, or you put the CD in your car and you
Same
drive
here, bro.
for 3 hours, and you're like, I want to know from start. I want to know the album tracks.
Well, albums is what makes fans of artists, I think.
For sure.
You know?
But then it's like, do people care? Like, what's the balance? Do
I
people
think they
care
do,
anymore?
man. I think they do. I think it's underrated still.
Because it takes
Obviously,
so much
they're gonna
more
skip
time
through
for
it.
you to do a theme.
Yeah, it does.
So then it's like, what's the reward for putting all this extra effort in?
Well, if you have a fan base already, the reward is giving them something that you know that they'll appreciate because they already appreciate what you're trying to put out into the world based on the catalog, based on the fact they keep buying tickets. They have stories for you that of times that your music meant something to them and where they were and what they were doing. And I just lost one of my biggest fans, actually. And she was like a 60, 50-something-year-old woman. And her daughter reached out to me over Snapchat and told me that she had passed away, and it hit me so much harder than I thought it would, because you only see these people one time a year, maybe, you know, but it's over 6 or 7 years. You build a relationship and they feel that connection to you too. So that's not to be underrated. And when you put a lot of work into something with them in mind, they feel that even if they don't love every song. Like even my favorite bands, I don't love every single thing they put out, but I know that they've given me enough of a track record where I know that they're going to speak to me the way I want to be heard. You know?
Wow.
I think there's like a level of faith that you need too, because I think musicians, it's always about singles now. Like, what's your next hit and what's this going to be? And you're like, all right, I'm just going to go in the lab and make art, and I'm just going to have faith it changes somebody's life. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that anybody's even going to like it.
There never is, but we didn't get into this job for guarantees. If
Yeah.
we wanted
Yeah.
guarantees, I'd
Be
work in
like
an office
an
somewhere.
accountant.
But I was never good at math or anything, so.
Did you end up doing the live album?
No, still haven't put that out. Still on my list.
Okay.
Saying things just take longer, man.
Right.
I'll
You're independent now.
Independent, man.
You're the company.
Yeah, and I have ADD and chronic depression, so I'm not even if I was the leader of any other of company, it would be a scary thing. But luckily, I can write a song. So you know.
Yeah, you were diagnosed like as a kid or something.
Yeah, super early.
Do you think that help? Like some people, they look at Kanye and they're like, oh, he's crazy, but maybe it helps his creativity. Do you think that's real?
Of course, I don't think they envy that. I know a lot of people that would switch places with Kanye for his genius. You know, because it looks devastating a little bit to not have your own brain working in your favor.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's always a yin and yang to things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He gets to be this driven maniac that kind of, if he wants to, shift culture.
Right.
You know, that's a... if he was a little less crazy, maybe he wouldn't have such an impact, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know.
But
for me, it was just it definitely helped me through stuff. You know, I'm sure when you guys were kids, music was something that we could go to, and certain songs resonated with us very intensely, and because of that, that feeling when I realized I could write songs, it's like, oh, I could create my own therapy out of this, you know,
Right.
and then you, over many years, become that for someone else.
Right.
How cool is that? Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
That makes sense.
Are you guys still touring this year?
Yeah. We just played a couple shows and we got a couple more this next weekend. So we have just 2 more shows this
When do you
year,
guys
right?
get a
Three.
break?
3 more.
I feel like we're always we
always get a break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get
Usually
like
the last
our
3
touring
days
schedule is
off.
really nice because
The
it's like
last 3 days. That's not what I meant.
yeah. I
I
feel
feel
like
like enough time to fly to Bali and stay there for a few days.
Yeah. A couple weeks.
It's-
after this next
yeah.
weekend though we'll have some time. So
It's not
Good.
really as taxing as your shows. We can just kind of fly in and plug our
That's true
USBs in.
too.
Oh, Trevor's like, speak for yourself. He has to sing.
Yeah.
it's all good.
Is that with tracks though?
Yeah. Well, I still sing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you tried to
Yeah.
fire shots and you missed, son.
No, I'm just saying with the DJ set is a little bit
Yeah,
different
there's a
than
little bit
what,
more.
yeah,
than what
yeah,
you
more
no,
wiggle
for
room.
sure.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
like
sure.
if
I
Trevor really wanted to take a night off
We're gonna be okay.
from singing, we'll be okay.
I realize that
I don't
when
think you can do that.
You can't just stand up there and fuck it.
Fuck it.
voice all cracking, smoking cigarettes. I'm like, why doesn't it sound good tonight? I wish I could do that.
Trust me, I've had a couple of shows where these guys are like, "Oh yeah, I can't make it to that one." I'm like, "Wait, what? I just got to do this by myself?"
Really? Wait, you've had to do a couple by yourself because you were just like, I'm not coming.
There- been a
Yeah,
couple.
there was like a weird logistics mix up a couple times. I think I've done 2 by myself. And you go into it super nervous, like, oh God, they're gonna hate it. They're gonna feel like they're ripped off. They're gonna be throwing crap at me. And then you're up there and they're like, cheat codes, cheat codes. They're like they're like calling me
I'm
cheat
alive. It's all
codes.
good. Yeah.
And they're like, do they even know who sings on what? Probably not.
That's so funny.
They probably don't even care. They're probably just like, oh, the show's fun and the music's cool.
Well, I mean, you guys do make great music, so that should be a relief, honestly.
But you have to, I wonder if you had this insight performing. We've had so many shows where early on I thought, oh, if this happens, it's going to be so embarrassing. It's going to be the worst nightmare of my life. And Trevor will trip on a power cable and the entire power will go out.
That happened once, like 8 years ago.
Oh, it did happen.
Yeah, it did.
But my
It
point-
His worst nightmare.
Yeah.
But my point to that is that would literally be my worst nightmare.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal.
It would happen. We plug it back in and then everyone goes extra hard.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And you
Let's
realize,
turn this shit up. Let's go.
yeah,
And
you
you
realize,
notice that people love it when something happens that you weren't prepared for too.
Yeah, you just gotta be
People
willing to
like
play
it,
it
like,
off.
I feel like they
Oh.
do.
Yeah, you gotta be able to like just push through
Well,
it.
not
with
always.
a smile on.
One
Otherwise-
time, probably the worst situation like that I ever had happen. We were playing UConn, or I think it was UConn, and nobody knew who I was yet. I was opening for French Montana and T.I., and it was just me and my DJ Dave. And halfway through the set, that they're already not really enjoying because they didn't know who I was and they didn't care. I guess they hadn't. You put a rug down, under the DJ table a lot, right, to prevent the shock factor, so it doesn't move around. Somebody had forgotten to do that, so all of a sudden, halfway through the show, all of our stuff falls
Oh no.
off the barricade, and it's everywhere. It's clearly everything's broken. There's nothing to fix. And
Just
Hard to
acapella.
recover from.
just turn around and all of a sudden everyone just is. The first guy, I saw the first guy realize he could do it. Now that it's quiet, I saw him out there, dude with dreads, and he just goes, boo.
Oh, no. No.
And I've never been booed off stage because I won't leave. But that was the closest. I mean, I
'cause-
had no choice.
Yeah, you're like, there's nothing.
I was
I
just
literally
like,
can't
fuck it.
do anything now.
I literally can't do anything. Yeah.
That makes me think we did this festival in Mexico and we show up. For whatever reason, they built the stage like 3 on top of each other. It was like we were on a mountain. Like, why were we so high up above the crowd? So we start playing, and as we're playing, the stage starts falling apart.
Like one of the platforms we're standing on is like breaking.
Yeah.
And
So
like,
so we're DJing. I think
Yeah.
we had like an hour set. By like minute 40, I like look down and there's 3 Mexican dudes just holding us up.
with
We're,
like plywood
No,
and stuff. They're like adding wood to it. It was
we were
like,
being
oh,
held.
No.
People were just watching from the crowd like it's a normal
Yeah.
show. And
How
we're
long ago was this?
like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It was like this
I
could
felt
be it.
so bad. I felt
Like,
so
just
bad.
Fall apart right here. I don't know.
But hey, the dedication.
Yeah,
thanks
they
to those
held it
guys.
down.
I hope those guys
Just-
got paid extra, man.
Kevy's
know.
up. Kevy's up there. 3, 2, 1.
Could you feel the leveling out
Yeah,
of
you
the
can feel it.
stage?
It's
Look at, like,
shaky.
the-
Oh my god.
Because we were swaying and we were up there.
Oh,
What
that
is?
was
Whoa,
funny,
whoa!
dude.
What is happening? Just 3 of us up in this tiny.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
like some
my
Dr.
gosh.
Seuss contraption stage.
We made it.
I'll say one of the best things to come recently in live performances is actually stopping the concert when someone faints or
Yeah.
is hurt.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
it's crazy we didn't used to do that.
Yeah.
Now that you think
Oh,
about
we
it.
did.
You know,
Yeah.
it's, that's,
Fuck off.
you paid for the ticket. You know what you're getting into. The drugs are in your system. You deal with it. But now it's like, yeah, you stop the
probably
whole
stop
thing
it.
and
Let security
make sure
know.
security comes. And,
Yeah.
I guess
Pull 'em out.
that's like one good change in the music industry that happened.
Yeah.
We had that at we played a college show before Big Sean. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
I played a college show before Big Sean too. I'm very curious to hear what your experience.
So we play right before Big Sean, and everyone is so excited to see Big Sean, not necessarily us,
It was not our demographic.
that they were pushing each other to get to the front, the barricade, the bar. So while we're playing, I think we only got 2 or 3 songs in. There's a lady, not a lady, she's probably a college girl, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs that she's being trampled, and she's screaming, "Help, help, help!" And they just cut the set, cut the power for us.
Yeah.
And then they need to help
Cops
this
were
girl.
there,
So.
They ended up the whole they stopped.
Oh, it was a
stopped
whole
the
thing.
set.
Like
It was that was
she
it.
couldn't breathe. Like the whole
Yeah.
crowd was like so packed that it was like swaying, like the barricade.
Yeah. Crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like being in those environments.
Same.
On the
In
other
the
crowd?
side,
Same.
Yeah.
no,
Never.
no, it stresses me out.
It is
Yep.
pretty horrifying.
So what was your big shot?
It was your
Just
Big
a normal
Sean
show.
Yeah, it was just a show with Big Sean. I was just
Okay.
trying to flex. No, I don't know where we were. Some random place in Georgia. We get to see a lot of random places, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best part. I like the small towns.
They just were very pushy about not swearing the
Really?
entire time. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess Big Sean's doing a clean set too. That's weird. Yeah, so we got through the clean set, and they were like, "We're not gonna pay you if we hear cursing." And then Big Sean goes on stage, and it was maybe the very night that he released "I Don't Fuck With You."
No way.
So he played everything, obviously, full curse words and everything. And I'm just like, this song too. This song especially. It's nothing but, and it's mean. I was just like, I guess that's what you get for being the headliner.
Big
Yeah.
Sean, he's like the DJ of rappers. Like he's like, no, I want no cuss words. So when I come up, don't.
just
It
It's
really
that much
makes an
harder.
impact.
It's like, oh, I've been holding in this cuss word the entire concert. I just want to
He just
let
steps
it
up there and
out.
goes, "Fuck." There's not even music playing.
It's like we have a DJ's DJing dubstep before us. And we're like, bro, come on.
Yeah, we've had to do a couple clean sets before too, and it's so funny having to like make edits where it's like "Bleep," you like cut out the vocal. or whatever. Yeah, just little things. Yeah,
We
What's-
played in Dubai, and they
Ooh.
told us ahead of time, yeah, one of your biggest songs, Sex. No,
don't
Nah.
even think about it.
don't even think
Really?
about playing it. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't play with that stuff there. I heard you're not even allowed to do public affection and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't
No.
make out with a girl at a club or anything like that.
You have to like get clearance to drink alcohol. I'm pretty sure
Didn't you guys break the law in Dubai?
by drinking. Yeah,
It sounds very easy to do.
I think so. Yeah.
No, because I was
I was
really
I was getting drunk. I got caked in the face by Steve.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You were out there with Steve Aoki?
Yeah, I was getting wow,
He lives out here too.
blast.
I've
Yeah.
had so many damn DJ songs that I think about. All great songs. It's just I didn't realize it until someone asked the other day if I'd ever worked with DJs. I said, yeah, Cheat Codes, Two Friends, Loud Luxury, Steve Aoki. And I just kept going. I'm like,
Like, oh my god, it
I
never
think I know
ends.
a lot- that's more than a
I was
handful.
like, holy shit, it's more songs than I've put out. I love
wild.
it though. I love the kind of music you guys make. It's just everybody always gets fucking pumped, man. You know, like sometimes I feel like everybody's always stoked for the kind of show that you guys put on. Trying to think if that's ever not been the case for me besides the TI show. Oh yeah, anytime that you open for somebody that is just completely mismatched, you know, with your genre,
Right.
Yeah.
it's gonna be a weird crowd. It's like going to Rolling Loud, where it's like young, hot white girls and then just a bunch of hood people.
Right.
So there's like, how are they all jumping at the same thing? They're probably not.
yeah. Sometimes it's better that way. We did the whole country album, so we did.
Oh yeah, you did too.
We did these country festivals,
Yep.
and it would just there's a kick drum and there's like a drop, and it was like these country crowds that never
Those were fun.
heard that before, so they're just like, oh, this is our chance to go hard.
Yep.
For sometimes if you do EDM crowds and they're used to it and they're like, they're less reactive because they've been to these festivals a million times.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think a lot of times our big craziest crowds are like the all genre audiences.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Love festivals. Fucking yeah. Any other questions you got on that laptop right there?
No, this is just a random laptop.
Oh, okay.
What are you gonna show? What are you gonna
Questions
show
on
us
there you
today?
wanted to.
What'd you say?
What are you gonna show us today?
I wasn't going to show you anything.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll talk about this tour though, because it's since I'm independent again, I get to do things that I didn't really have time for. There was kind of the clock was ticking on everything that we did, and now we have to push things forward. And this time, I got to set up the show in a way that I've wanted to for a while, where it's almost like a play.
Oh,
There's like
sweet.
different scenes. And I grew up loving musical theater.
Wicked.
I did. My mom always made sure that I, went to see plays even if I didn't understand it, like Ragtime. And there's one called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum that's hilarious that nobody even knows about. Anyway, this tour is the first time we're getting to do that. Kind of actually set it up like a play, and I have to remember where I'm supposed to stand at certain parts, and
sick.
it'll be
Oh, that's
Choreographed
interesting
and
for that
everything.
reason.
Like overhead lighting.
Yeah.
Do you have like background things that switch out?
Yeah,
That's sick.
That's awesome.
That's really
dude.
dope.
Just doing it under budget is crazy. Tours are so expensive. Oh my
So
god,
it's mind-boggling.
We were talking about it earlier, man. To make a profit touring, just everybody listening to this, if you're a fan of music, just know so many of the artists that go on tour aren't making money. They're doing it for you guys, and to keep ourselves present in your mind and promote something that we think you'll like. But most of the time, it is not. It's only in the last couple of years has touring been actually profitable for me.
Right. Especially when you're putting on your full production and you gotta bring lights and a full
Yeah,
crew,
yeah.
and it just gets expensive.
You gotta love it, man.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, dude. How many dates are you doing?
It's not a pop quiz, It's
Tough
no
question.
wrong answers.
I don't know. Either way, check
27?
it out.
27, I think.
Oh shit, dude. That's a
I
lot.
think so, yeah. It'll.
27?
I could be wrong. I could
That's
be
Either
that's
way.
a good chunk, dude. That's like you're
once a
going
year.
lot.
We do
Yeah.
the big tour, and other than that, I'm playing military and college shows through the year,
Awesome.
which is fun. Have you guys played any military stuff?
I don't think
No,
so.
I have never.
No, we,
No,
we
you
only got
should.
like one offer, and
I've heard
we
someone
said
else
no.
say military shows are fun though.
It is, man, because it's a completely different crowd. Again, perspective. You just see, like, the nuclear family still exists there because
Right.
they're on these bases, and people raise their families, a certain way with discipline. And you learn so much of how much money and how much effort and technology and stuff goes into the military. just staring at a Huey helicopter that was flown in Nam. You know, you can feel the bullet holes on it, and it's still, and they still use it to this day. The fact that the technology was that good
back then
in the 60s that they can still use it today is so interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, we can't go to the moon, so.
Elon, I
What
guess,
happened?
is trying. Or no, he's focused on Mars now. I don't know who the fuck would want to live on Mars anyway. That environment looks so bleak. It's like, what, you really want to just have a whole planet of Joshua Tree? I don't think I want to do that.
It would be, huh?
Minus the trees.
Holy hell.
I guess it's just like a plan B. Like, if worst case scenario,
It's something.
What is
somewhere to
worst
go.
case scenario? Nuclear fallout.
I guess.
Whatever.
Well, you
Have
don't-
seen,
Yeah.
whatever. Science stuff. Have you ever seen Blade Runner 2049?
No.
That's my favorite movie.
Really?
Yeah.
The new one or the old
Yeah,
one?
with Ryan Gosling.
Really?
And Harrison Ford.
Ryan.
I guess I need to
seen
watch
either
it
of those.
again. It felt very flat. Like I didn't really know what was happening. I think I need to watch again. Maybe it's like Lord of the Rings.
The best
Lord
movies
of the
too.
Rings is not flat.
Yeah, Lord of
How
the Rings
dare
is
you.
a great.
They're the best
movie.
movies ever
No, I'm
made.
saying you have to strap in. Like you have to.
Yeah, you
commit.
gotta pay attention. You can't be
Yeah.
like sitting there like this.
Yeah.
And be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to be paying attention. Yeah.
Which means it's an impossible movie to do with a girlfriend
Right.
or a fiance.
Like I don't
Oh,
get it.
yeah.
Hey guys, I'm
Exactly.
engaged. I'm
He is.
engaged.
Sorry,
So
ladies.
Matt,
Locked in.
Sorry.
Feels different.
Yeah, sorry, ladies.
You grew out the beard and everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Once
I love
you're
it.
once you're engaged, you can just look however you can just let it all go.
I love the beard look for you.
Thanks, bro.
When you
I
picked me
do.
up, I was
Beard's
like,
my favorite.
this guy
For-
seems smart.
For the winter,
Just let it go. Just
it's like
keep going.
it's like someone's hugging your
Bro, if it was
face.
down to here, it'd be so badass.
You guys think I should get a big belly?
I mean, whatever you want to do. I know you work out way too often to get a big belly. You're
Yeah.
always in the gym.
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
true.
You guys think I should get a big belly?
Yeah. If you want,
You know what?
go for it, bro.
I was thinking about it. Maybe you should just a little bit.
I was thinking about it.
You guys think you'll ever settle down?
Yeah. at
Yeah,
some
I'll
point.
settle down.
Yeah.
What's the mentality though with being a musician? I think definitely for me, I'm like, how would you even make this work?
Dude, it's got to be with someone that gets it. I mean, I understand why a
Yeah.
lot of people in entertainment date each other because it takes a lot to understand and to be accepting of how often we leave. It takes a lot of trust to know that you're not out there doing everything you want to do.
You might have a horny tour manager,
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Gino.
yeah,
Gino.
the horny.
Yeah,
My
right.
tour-
The most chill,
Gino.
the most chill tour manager ever.
Dude, I've never met someone that could give a fuck less about the glamour part of being on the road.
That's true. Yeah, Gino really doesn't give a fuck.
No, he doesn't. He wants it to run smooth, and it's so funny because the show goes differently for so many people on the road. You know, we have a great sounding set. Our in-ears are fucking banging, and then after the show, I just see Gino stress the fuck out because security was bad, and there was apparently people got backstage, and all this other stuff happened that I was completely unaware of for an hour and 15 minutes.
That's probably good.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a
right?
good
Yeah.
thing.
At least maybe not him stressing out, but you want somebody to be paying attention to things that you're not
Of
paying
course,
attention to.
of course. So
Like
I
an eye
could
for
just be
detail.
up there like, wee.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't you guys miss we could be rock stars back in the day and just we don't have to pay attention to anything. We could just show up and have fun.
When I saw that movie, The Dirty, is when I really realized it.
Yeah, you're like, this is
wow.
not glamorous anymore. What? I got sold a lie. The hell happened?
So, still lucky as hell.
Have you ever had any issues like dating but being well known, like a musician, like scary stuff? Because I think that's part of the reason I was like, I'm gonna get engaged because it's dangerous out here
Man,
as a single person.
the craziest thing that happened to me, and I tell this story sometimes on stage. A couple of years ago, I was dating somebody, and for a year, at the same time, I had a cyberbully that was making pages about me, following fans and friends, saying almost way too specific things that they almost knew were going to affect me, really.
You're like,
it wasn't
this-
just like
this
Bryce
isn't on
Vaughn's music
Wikipedia.
suck. I can handle that. It was like
Detailed shit.
like deep shit that was, I was like, how does this person know that this is something I would never do, and that my biggest fear is people thinking that I would. You know?
Right.
And yeah, for a year that was going on, and my whole group of friends, it started to infect people. It got to the point where
So like it was
It
hitting
was
up your
infecting my
friends.
band.
It was like hitting up your friends too.
Yeah,
wow.
message. I got a message, like a text message sometimes that was like, "Hey, I know where you're at," and all this. I never felt like someone wasn't watching me for like a year. I got way depressed, and then I found out who it was. It was my girlfriend.
What?
Well, that's insane.
How did you find out?
Yeah, that's a good question.
She made the mistake of involving my best friend in some of the just trying to fuck up my life stuff. And so he became determined, and now he thinks he's fucking Columbo because he figured it out. But he looked in all of our texts. There was points where I had messaged the cyberbully and was talking to them, and it sounded familiar, you know? The things
You need
that they
like
were
the
saying.
outside perspective to like see and be like, oh, I know who this is.
And I screenshotted a lot of it. And so he looked for a word that was misspelled, or he noticed a word that was misspelled, and then he searched in his phone that word misspelled the same way, and my girlfriend came up. And then he looked in his wife's phone because they were friends, and she came up again. And he picked me up from the airport one day, and he's like, search this in your phone. And then my girlfriend came up, and he goes, I got bad news for you. I know who your cyberbully is.
No way.
Dude, this guy needs to be on forensic files. That is crazy.
Wow.
He does.
It's like when you analyze
too
the
good.
handwriting. It's like, oh, only this person uses
Did
this
you confront
emoji.
her? How did you?
Yeah. Well, the thing about finding something that you're sleeping next to the enemy.
That's crazy.
So you were
dude.
still dating her when you found out.
Oh, yeah.
That's so
I
weird.
was on the verge. I didn't want to get married, and I don't know if I ever do, really. I'll do it for the one. The getting married is for her. For most men, I feel like that's the feeling. But I was going to do it because she was not from here, and I wanted to make her life
Right.
easier, you know. And I remember the day, talk about manifesting. I said to whoever was listening, I was just like, hey, I'm going to do this for this girl because I know I can trust her and everything. But if there's any reason I shouldn't do it, I'll look for that sign. And 2 weeks maybe later, this whole thing came about where I was going to,
That's God.
but God, I was crushed for a minute, but so relieved finding out what.
Did you ever tell you why?
Oh, I was gonna say the hard part about confronting somebody that you're that close to and finding out that they're doing what they're doing, dude, is you don't know what they're capable of anymore.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
I'd be scared of.
You know, it's like if I confront this girl in person, is she gonna just stab me?
Slash your tires.
You know,
yeah.
I have
Start
no
throwing
idea.
stuff out the window.
So she came over. Luckily, she was like with her mom because her mom was visiting, and she knew something was up. And I said, "Yo, we'll talk later." So then she called me on FaceTime. So we weren't right there in person, not within stabbing distance.
Yeah.
And it took about 15 minutes before she finally, I was like, I know it was you. I just want to know why. And then she said that, yo, she only started doing it 2 weeks ago. And then I had evidence that it was at least from 6 months ago, whatever. So it's kind of hard to believe anything they say. But I think, again, it's hard to be in a relationship with somebody that goes everywhere and does a lot of stuff and has access to excess. It's hard. You don't feel like you have control. Like looking back, I feel bad for her being in that situation she couldn't control.
She's trying to figure out what you're up to.
She's still fucking nuts. She should have just broken up with me. Any normal person would.
Right.
You know, I wasn't a perfect boyfriend, but I wasn't manipulative.
She was trying to keep tabs on you.
Yeah. And she trying
That
to
was like-
have control. And it gave us something to work on together. She was trying to help me find the cyberbully.
No way.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's another
Oh, yeah.
layer.
That's like scary.
What?
Bro.
Oh, yeah.
She's trying to help you find it?
Oh yeah, dude. We
Oh,
talked
that's
about all
like
the
a-
people it could be. She
It
made
was-
me think it was.
It
her
was
best
like
friend.
it was like a project, a couple project.
Bro.
Yeah. It
That's
was.
like a
It was a
Netflix
whole
doc.
group project because it was starting to infect the band too. I could go into so much detail. It was crazy.
That's
That is
wild, man.
wild,
I'm
man.
sorry, bro.
Glad you got through that,
Whatever.
though.
The book will be amazing one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
The documentary.
That's another thing. I started a novel. It takes not very far on it, but I started it, and it's a really cool idea.
Oh,
But
you did?
Yeah, it's fun because I like to. I told you guys I like to read. But God, if you write a page a day for a year, it'll take you. I'm sorry, if you write a page a day, it'll take you a year to finish a book.
Right.
You know, so you really got to be committed to it. Sometimes I'm just sitting on a plane And that's the last thing in the world I want to do is try to. And then they went to the no.
This is a fiction.
Yeah.
That'll be Was it based off this?
No, it's fiction, but it's based on what I think a lot of people's worst fear is, and if that happened to somebody, how they would actually handle it. I think the biggest fear aside from death is being forgotten. Yeah, that's all I can really say about it right now, I guess, because I don't want my idea to be stolen because it's a really good idea.
That's cool.
But that's why we put our names on buildings and stuff, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I think everyone should write a biography. I think everyone should write an autobiography or at least a diary or some track of the things that they did and accomplished. It has changed my mental health so much. Like all through driving through Kenya, I tracked and wrote out something every single day, made sure that I did it every single day. And now when I go back, I really can get into that zone again and appreciate that experience. Whereas if it was just a memory and you see it through pictures and when you're scrolling back a year through your 22,000 photos in your phone, it just doesn't hit the same way. But when you see your own words at that time it was happening, it really hits you different. I think everybody should do it.
Yeah, I do a lot of journaling, and sometimes I'll go back from one that's 10 years ago, and it'll say, like, I want this thing to happen. You're like, oh, yeah, that happened, like, a couple years later.
And you're like, wow, that was the thing that would make me happy now.
And now I wouldn't care about that at all. But it does help you look at things and be like, oh, I remember in this moment thinking I was so far away. But really, it was only a couple years.
Interesting.
And if you have those words, you can feel it again. You can feel like, oh, I had anxiety here.
Yeah.
Like I was worried, like I might not never make it as a musician.
I might not never make it.
I might not never make it.
Never make it as a musician.
And I was a couple years away, So then you can go back and be like, oh, okay, this probably isn't that big of a deal. I was making a mountain out of a molehill. You know what I mean?
How did you guys start Cheat Codes?
Wants to take it.
Go ahead, Kevy.
Oh, gee.
Got him.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to hear his answer.
Matt and Trevor knew each other from playing a live show and back in the day, right? In Missouri at a pizza place.
Did you guys all play instruments, or were you mostly beat makers? Or
Yeah, I played guitar in like the singer-songwriter project for a long time. So
He was signed to Atlantic actually back in the day.
no
yeah,
shit.
when I was young, I was 16.
wait, I knew that because did you and Gino work together then too?
Yeah, Gino used to tour manage that whole project. yeah. So we toured together for years, but like we both dropped out of high school at the same time.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. So
Go team.
Yeah, go team. Yeah, so that's wild. But we met each other on like the very first tour, second tour I ever did. And he was we were playing at a pizza place in Missouri.
I was trying to hustle too.
Right on the water, huh?
Yeah, it was
Luxury all the way.
It was like full of smoke. It was like some weird.
I remember
stuff.
doing these shows. They would be local shows for me. Oh, this band's coming in town. I'm gonna say hi to every band. There'd be five or six bands on the show, and it'd be like
Matt
200 people.
Matt
So
came up and introduced himself.
I was like, oh, plug in stereo. I got him. And Trevor was sick or something, and he was just going, oh, hey, nice to meet you. And then that was like kind of it. And then years later, I knew he was in town because we had a mutual friend. I was like, oh, we met before, and he was like, halfway.
Yeah.
I don't think he remembered.
No, but I do remember the show very specifically, and I remember watching your band. So I remember like the show. So it's funny that you were like, oh yeah, we played this show, Cicero's, blah blah blah. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Yes, because we were the headliner, quote unquote, because
You're the local.
we were the local that could bring the local people.
Yeah,
Like we probably brought 50 people, and then the rest of the bands brought the other 50.
yeah.
So then we got to play last.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
just like bands hustling, not making
Local
any
shows
money.
back in the day. Yeah, it was such a different thing. But
Builds
anyways,
character, man.
What's
Yes.
up?
I said it builds character.
Yeah, no, for sure. We slept in vans. Did the whole.
Oh, yeah.
I paid people in like Taco Bell coupons I had, literally. So it was
But
crazy.
yeah, Trevor was the first professional that I met. Like first, he's a full-time musician. He's signed. He has a publishing deal. So like, I need to get to know this guy, figure out how he's doing it, how he's doing his writing process, that whole thing. And he needed a place to stay. So my roommates, I was like, oh, let him stay with us. Like,
Yeah, so we lived together off and on a few different times.
I was like, if you let him stay with us, our rent will be cheaper.
Yeah, they're like,
Genius.
okay.
That's how I sold it to the
Yeah.
rest of the roommates.
They're like, fuck it. So I stayed in their
Seems pretty simple.
yeah, their laundry room I turned into a bedroom for like a few months, whatever. So I turned into a studio really, but I slept on the floor. But we
I'd
became
make sure I
friends.
only did my laundry at night so that you had to.
They
sit through
did. They were
that.
pretty accommodating. I don't think it was too much of an issue. Yeah, so it worked
But,
out.
sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, no, we lived together a few different times, and then I remember wanting to come back for 6 months, and I asked if he had a room, and so I stayed with him again, and it was me, him, and Gino actually sharing a room together. So us three lived in a room together, me, Matt, and Gino.
Oh my god.
Living one bedroom, but it was like a 4-bedroom house, but we had like 8 people living there, and they had started working on Cheat Codes music together, and I had just stopped my old project, left Atlantic, and started doing my own solo stuff, and then we did a session, and then that was it. But I remember Matt calling me one day being like, you got to meet this guy, Kevy. He's like, his whole life's so cool. Like, he's going to be my best friend. Like,
That looks Christian life, dude.
yeah. I was like, sweet. I'd love to meet him. So we met, and that was it.
Who came up with the name Cheat Codes?
I was telling Matt a story about my brothers were in a rock band back in the day, and they played at Madison Square Garden. And when I told Matt the story, that my brother was like, "Oh, I figured out the cheat code." When I asked him when I was younger how he did this, Matt's like, "Oh, that's the name, Cheat Codes."
Oh, perfect.
Perfect name,
Nicely
dude.
done, guys.
Because the way I was looking at it was, I met Kevy and his brothers were in this big rock band that was signed. They opened for Duran Duran, and then his uncle was in Sugar Ray, which is random as hell.
That is.
And then his dad has these Academy Awards for being a sound mixer in Hollywood. And I was just like, how is this? How is this all in like one person, like one family? And the whole Hollywood music industry seemed very far away. Like you're gonna have to do so much work to get there. And everything Kevy explained, like, oh yeah, I just grew up around this. It was easy. I went to high school with Jaden Smith or whatever the hell. I was like, what the hell? So when he said cheat code and that mentality of you can make it easier if you want it to be.
Like,
If you think that it's gonna be hard, then it's gonna be harder.
Bro, that name is the cheat code because it's so good. It's like I wish I got to be born a little earlier so I could have started a career in the 90s and come up with the name Sublime or something. It's like one of those, you know?
Nirvana.
All those names are taken, it feels like. The Doors.
Yeah.
There's such great names that are so
Rolling
easy
Stones,
to remember.
great name.
Bro,
Yeah.
so easy to remember. Have you ever seen the documentary Searching for Sugarman?
No.
No.
It is so good, and every musician should watch it,
Searching for
especially, or
Sugarman.
anyone that has a dream in the industry, because it shows you, it really shows you that amazing things can happen for you, and you don't even realize until later in life, and that the real impact of it for you can happen at any time. It's this guy that they couldn't find, a musician who sang these beautiful songs, that almost in a Bob Dylan-y way. He was like a mixed Asian or Native American guy, and they couldn't find him. One of the records went triple, quadruple platinum in South Africa. And so everyone in South Africa knew this guy's song, but it was a protest song during apartheid. So they scratched out every record of that song. The government made it illegal to buy this record, which only made the popularity of it crazier. And this guy's American. He has no idea that this is all happening around his music at that time. There's no iPhone.
He specifically wrote it as a protest song or no?
He did not. They just
Yeah, because I couldn't I imagine being American being like, all right,
No,
I know what we're gonna write, apartheid protest.
No, yeah, that's a very niche
Yeah,
market. No, he had no idea the impact that this one song would have, and they thought he died. There was and there was nothing on his album that gave away who he was or where he was from or how to locate him. They put out an ad in the paper. I'm ruining this whole thing for you.
That's all right.
I'm pretty in it.
But he didn't die, and then he finds out that these people are looking for him because he's this huge South African influence and he's never been to South Africa, and then he goes to South Africa to play this massive show at older age. He's in life, and he's just like a normal guy, and he gets that dream.
That's amazing.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And his family sees, and he's got his kids, and they all get to see him, and he gets on stage and he rocks it. You know, a guy who hasn't performed music in over a decade, 20 years or something, and just living his life.
Wow.
And had no idea that and he still tours to go to South Africa.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That's amazing.
pretty sick.
It was really uplifting.
That's really cool.
And what I got from that was that we all want things a certain way,
Yeah.
and we have an idea of how it's going to
The
go.
order.
Yes, an order, and especially in the things that are worthwhile in life, you don't really get to pick that. It's got to be a little bit of adventure and a little bit of surprise. And the fact that that guy all those years later got to have that experience, it just means that people find a way to find you and find the music that matters, and and you will get your just desserts if you live long enough to see it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I
I was-
watch it, even though
Yeah, we got to see
I
it.
totally ruined it. I'm sorry. You've had time. It's been out
I
since
feel like I got to see him play the show.
2008.
Yeah, dude, you
You've
don't have
had
an
time.
excuse.
But
I wanted to ask you about you went to Berkeley, which is in Boston. Did you drop out, or was that just a full? I'm finishing, getting my degree.
no.
I knew it. I knew you dropped out. all the best, most talented people drop out, right?
The ones that like to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like,
don't
yeah,
wa-
I'm the best. I dropped out. That's how you know. John Mayer.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah, he did. He spoke my freshman year there. And he
Oh,
was
wow.
great.
That's sick.
Yeah, he was great.
That's really dope.
Berkeley was interesting. It was really interesting. You're kind of thrown into, it's your first attempt at being thrown into a pond full of so many talented people,
Because
and
Boston's
finding
got to be
your
way
niche there.
different than Cali too.
Man, it's so cold. I'm never moving back to the winter. Nah.
Yeah,
Nah,
never.
man.
We
I
were
remember
we
I
were
had
just
dreads
there.
back then. I would be late to class always, and they would freeze sometimes on the way to class.
Oh, shit.
No way, bro. What?
The alcohol, like the beer.
No, my dreads.
Oh, your dreads. Oh,
My
I thought you-
dreads would freeze. It's because I'd get out of the shower and race to class, and they'd still be wet. And
That was like curl
Icicles on
sometimes.
your head.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I left Berkeley because I got the when you go to a school like that, any music opportunity back then that you hear of, everybody's talking about it, right? Whether it was American Idol, The Voice, and there was one because Glee was a big show back then called the Glee Project, and it was like where they were looking for the next Glee star. I'd never seen a single episode, but I put out an audition tape. I got onto this show, and so do I stay in school or do I take the opportunity?
This was like a self tape kind of thing.
Yeah, I sang Gold Digger by Kanye, actually.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that was one of the audition options. And I was like,
Nice.
I'll give it a shot.
Legend.
Add melody to it.
I never saw the show, but I have this memory of how we met. I don't know if you have the memory. I think Trevor was there. We were at a party, and I remember we just show is in LA. We roll up. We're like, who are these people? It's like, oh, they're all on this Glee show. And you guys are like celebrating, or it was like a cast party, or I don't know.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's where we met you. And I feel like I
No
brought this up
way.
to you, and every time I bring it up to you, you're like, what party was this? But we were at some event or party or something. We met a bunch of you. We met like a bunch of the people
Yeah,
from the cast.
like the whole cast. It was so weird, but not to throw
Was
Trevor.
it a house party?
Yeah, it was a house
think
party.
so.
Yep, it was a house party or an
It
apartment
might
or
have
something.
been Corey Monteith's house party. It's
Wait,
very
who's-
possible. He was the lead guy on Glee. It was like one of the first cool Hollywood parties I ever went to, really.
Yeah.
And he had a house party in the hills.
But I remember feeling like,
He-
oh, I'm at a party where there's like legit people, and I didn't know any of you guys, but I was like, oh, these guys are on Glee.
TV.
Yeah, these guys are on TV.
Hell yeah.
That just
Wow.
goes to
You
show
guys are
what we
on the
consider
telly.
legit.
When
There's
you're in
levels.
LA though, you're like, oh, that's sick. Hell
There's
yeah.
levels to this.
yeah.
Yeah.
No way. Wow, we go back way further.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've told me this before, but we've probably been drinking.
It's probably like 2013, 2012.
Yeah, it would have been that time. That's insane. And I look back on things like that too, and I'm like, I have all the things that I ever wanted when I was younger. You got to always remember that. And like you said, the
sequence.
journal, going back on
Yeah.
that, wishing and hoping for things that were just around the corner, and now you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Again,
Or
so
you-
really trying hard to be focused more on who I am now than who I'm gonna be, because it's just like, dude, you're never gonna stop. You're never gonna stop becoming who you're gonna become.
Right.
And then I just don't want to be someone that realizes that I didn't enjoy it as much as I should have. Yeah, I think that's like one of my bigger fears, and it's hard because it's already a chemical imbalance in my brain that tells me that things are shittier than they are, and So it's like just constant reminders, working out, reading things to get out of your own head, trying to help the people around you, stay loyal to your friends, really take in the stuff with fans and like notice the people in the crowd. You know, that really help. Those are the things that help me the most. I don't know how people get past depression if they're not exercising. That's one of the bigger ones for me.
Yeah, getting
if
oxygen,
you have that option.
oxygen to the brain.
Oh man,
Yeah, it
dude,
really
makes
helps.
all the difference.
I think that was
really
the
does.
thing with COVID. When I said I was depressed, they in LA they
Couldn't
wouldn't
work
let
out.
me work out.
No, yeah,
I couldn't go
walk
to the gym.
Man,
It was insane. I even went to a park and they put a basketball hoop. They put like a thing on the hoop, so I couldn't shoot
Oh,
hoops.
wow.
I was like, okay,
That's
this is some
crazy.
BS. I'm getting the
That's
hell
Yeah,
out of here.
They did lock the basketball.
Yeah,
thing, so-
bro. I
the
was like,
beach was closed, man, and I'm like, we already sit more than 6 feet apart from the next family at the beach.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be on them at
What
the
do you-
beach.
you
but
know?
I agree with you though, because I've never had a disposition for being sad, and I felt it during that. It was like lack of purpose, and I think lack of exercise, and then just being inside all the time. You're like, wow, this is what like a long stretch of being in a rut feels like. It's not
Yeah,
good. It's not a
yeah.
good feeling.
Yeah, rut that you
You don't know
are
way out.
forced
I was trying.
to
My brain was trying to figure out
continue.
what do I do, and I couldn't find.
Yep.
I couldn't find a way.
Dude, I remember there was a couple times where I was just like, you know what, fuck this shit, like, you know, because people got a little testy. All right, people got a little testy on both sides of the argument, but
Yeah.
people got testy. I remember I was at 9 a.m. I was on Franklin Canyon, which is pretty much nobody goes on. Maybe you'll see 2 or 3 people. And there was an older woman who, when I was coming down the hill, she was coming up it, and she had a mask on, and I had mine on my wrist. And she goes, "Do you have a mask?" When I passed by her, I'm like, "Yeah, it's right here." And I'm running down the hill, and it's 9 a.m. in the morning. And she goes, "Put it on." And I was like, "Excuse me?" She was like, "You might not be at risk, but I am." And I'm like, "Well, maybe you shouldn't be out here then. I'm trying to get some exercise. And I'm trying to breathe." And to this day, dude, I don't care what anybody says. Like, I'm doing this for you. Like, I'm fine, luckily, but I'm doing this for you. You don't get to just tell me. I don't let anybody just tell me what I have to do. And that's why I picked this career, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that was the first time that I didn't just feel the empathy for everybody. It was the first time I was like, you know what, fuck you a little bit.
Yes.
Like, I could not be doing anything more than what I'm supposed to be doing right now, and you have the nerve to not ask me, to tell me.
You, you might feel a little bit different because you grew up there, but I don't look at LA as like a community of people. It seems like a bunch of
not.
randos.
It's not a
And
community.
I think the COVID thing exposed that, where you're like, oh, everyone's just out for themselves, so I need to get the hell out of here.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say that. COVID made everybody's community smaller, you know?
Divided. Yeah.
I still feel that now.
But it's like if you're a
your circle was so much smaller during COVID. Once you were actually even able to go see friends, because the first couple months you didn't see anybody. I mean, I had, most of my friends were scared to go outside of their apartment, and then it started to chill, and you would play card games at the house and stuff. But it really pushed us at a really strange time in our lives to have a small community of people, and then it's LA on top of that. And I still feel that. I still feel like I forget to call people and hang out with friends, like as if I don't have that option when I'm home.
You're like, oh, they live in the beach side.
That's a whole nother planet.
It's
Oh,
too
man.
It's a
That's a
hassle.
whole nother planet, bro.
Forget
I was trying to
about it.
Your
convince our.
birthday's in Venice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll send you something on Amazon.
we're thinking like, oh, our manager, he lives in LA. We'll see him all the time. Nope, he lives in Venice,
Yeah, he does.
Santa Monica. I mean,
I remember a friend of mine, she 2 months ago, she's like, "You got to hang out with me tonight because I'm moving. Like, we got to hang out before I move." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, for sure. Let's do it. Like, what do you want to do? Whatever. Where are you moving to?" She goes, "Santa Monica." What do you mean we got to hang out before you leave? You're 30 minutes away. You know what? She's right. I haven't
Like-
seen her.
I might never see you again.
That's so funny. What do you mean?
I saw
I thought she was going to say Arizona. I thought she was going to say out of state.
Yeah.
I saw a clip of you where you were talking about songwriting and how sometimes it's annoying for you, like it's not your favorite thing in the world, and Is that still the case, or are you like out of that?
Yeah, it's still the case.
Yeah. But like, what's the difference as far as when you're like, oh, I'm all about it, and when you're not really feeling it? Is it like a different mode that you're in, or it's just you're just waiting for inspiration?
I think I'm just a really impatient person, trying to get better at that. But with a lot of things in life, like I even walk faster than a lot of my friends, and it annoys me when they're slow. Like
This guy walks.
I'm really
crazy
impatient
fast.
too. I'm the same
Well,
way.
he walks
really?
crazy
Walk really
fast.
fast.
You get annoyed if
Yeah.
we're walking
Like, I
too
want-
slow behind you.
like,
I'm like, with the things that I can control, I want to move quickly.
Yeah.
You know, because there's only so much time. Because I'm
Yeah.
slow
My
at so
girlfriend's
many
always like,
things.
just slow down. You gotta slow down. I'm like, oh god, I don't know.
Can't.
So
I
you're
know.
saying you're writing a song.
So I'm writing a song and I get impatient with myself too quickly.
Like if it doesn't happen right away,
Yes.
like screw this song,
Yes.
I'm leaving.
No, I don't do that. I sit there and I agonize, you know, and then what does that do? It doesn't help me write a song any faster.
Right.
If anything, it impedes the process.
Okay,
But
I got
this
it.
album I enjoyed making a lot of because it was super collaborative with the producer. His name's Jimmy Duvall. He's basically a modern day pirate. He did that "Look at Me" song for Extension
Oh, sick.
Oh,
before
wow.
he died. Yeah.
Super sick
So he's
song.
got, yeah, and he's just an interesting dude, and he comes up with stuff with me, and doesn't let me get impatient with myself because he'll just take the subject off music out of nowhere, you
Right.
know, and so that we're just talking, and I'll just sit there and not say anything while I'm trying to come up with the perfect line, and still to this day, you know, and then he'll just be like, "Oh, bro, I gotta tell you about this girl I met the other night. I shouldn't have even gone out, but I was on acid till 7 a.m. in the morning." And I'm like, this is interesting. And then all of a sudden, he says
An
some
idea.
shit and the line comes to
Yeah.
me. And when I'm not forcing it. So that's super helpful with this album for sure.
Was it your first time working with him, or have you done stuff?
Yeah,
with him
we
in the
worked
past?
a couple years back, maybe just on one or two things. But Motel California, that first song is what when we came up with that song together, it opened up the entire project for me.
Was that
I
like the
oh,
first
this
song
is-
of that vibe?
That was the first song
the, like
on
guitar,
the album that we wrote.
surf kind of.
And I knew
mellow
that I
vibe.
wanted the album to be called Motel California. It was perfect. It's exactly what I was trying to say. And especially the thing that was a little frustrating, not frustrating, that I was a little cringed by was because I've written so many songs about LA.
Yeah. That's
know?
how I was like, you're, well,
It
especially
felt a
now.
little like doubling down on it.
Yeah, but the sound is different. It's more.
Yeah, the
it's like
sound
more
is
moody. It's more like the TikTok. Not that your music's TikTok, but it's like the vibey vintage
that at all.
kind of style. You know.
It's vintage. I'm calling it new Americana, but
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that part of it, I mean, I always try to write things about how I feel and what I'm going through, and you know, so if I'm living in LA, I can't ignore it just because I've written songs about it before. They were also really good songs.
Yeah.
I'm sure the title track of an album is always the hardest part, and then it just flows.
Yeah,
Like,
from
oh, I
there
got
it
the
just
theme
flows.
now.
For the whole album to be done in less than a year, for me, is crazy because yeah, I will sit there writing songs just stressed out, especially if I write alone now. I can't even do it alone, honestly. If I have to have so many things
Yeah.
that are going on to not have it be a frustrating process. I'm trying to get over that. I just, you know,
I can see
have
that being
fucking
tough,
Rick
yeah.
Rubin's book and everything. But it's just,
Rick, you're not helping, man. What's going on?
it does help. It does help. He's right about a lot of things.
We're definitely blessed that there's three of us, because I think if I was just in a room by myself, it would be a lot harder to
Mm-hmm.
get the motivation. But you, Trevor, you had to write projects by yourself.
Yeah, for sure. That's how I started writing. Was just in my bedroom by myself.
Did
just
you ever
guitar
get
vocals.
frustrated, or were you cool with it?
Yeah, you definitely get frustrated for sure. I think it's just a lot like in the beginning, it's just a process of learning how to finish a song. It takes forever in the beginning. Like you end up working on a song for weeks and weeks, just trying to like understand the process of how to do it. You know, so like
Because when there's no feedback, it's like in your mind.
Yeah, I
how do you
remember-
know when it's done?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
have you're working with your friend, you'd be like, nah, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And you're like, okay, cool. Is it
Process
done?
of elimination more than
Yeah.
anything. But when you're doing it by yourself,
yeah. But I would bring in like my siblings and be like, "Be honest. What about this sucks? Like, what about this is not good? You have to tell me."
That's
good way
I didn't
to
know
say
that.
it.
I'd be
too.
just tell me straight up. Like if this line's bad, if this melody's bad, just tell me, and I'll redo it. You know. So that was just like I just hopefully take people's.
That's a pro tip. I think that's a.
I love that.
Because
So
some people
what
are like
about this
scared
sucks?
to know what's bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to tell me something bad about this. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pick
like
out
take
the bad
the
things.
take the pressure off.
Yeah.
Well, some people you do, and I respect it when people don't have a shame in that, and they don't have an ego in that realm. You know, that they can just, learn from what they heard instead of taking it personally. I don't think I take it personally, but it's like it's harder for me to acknowledge someone's opinion. Like they could, I'll very much just be like, okay, no, well, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, exactly.
Like,
I'm not listening to you.
I do this shit. You don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck
I
you're
have
talking
hits.
about. And that's the ego speaking.
Also, how do you separate when it's something really personal, a personal lyric, versus I'm trying to make something that appeals to the masses? Because if it's really personal and someone's like, I don't like that line, that part's not that catchy, and you're like, well, I don't care because it was about something real.
It's got but you got to be your own tastemaker first, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
You got to be happy with it at the end.
I'll push a song all the way through if nobody else likes it, if I think it's great, because I trust. You just got to trust your own gut on things, you know.
Because like we've done sessions with artists, and we'll say, hey, let's tweak this, let's tweak that, and they're like, nah, but that's not how I originally wrote it. And we're like, well, we're in a writing session.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You got to be a great
Gotta be
A&R
willing to-
for yourself, right? You just really have to. I mean, Rihanna, you know, girl's never written a song in her life. She's just an amazing A&R for herself.
For sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to do that, but
She knows the hit when she hears it.
man.
Although apparently she passed on Lean On.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's like made fun of it. Was like, that's terrible.
Really?
Yeah, that's so
Reggae.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
She's passed on a
Definitely
couple
for-
hits. She passed on an Ariana Grande one too. I forgot.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up just working with different artists. I saw you had a song with Train, which is really sick. Actually, it's like reggae vibes. I don't know if you remember that record.
Oh yeah, I remember it.
And we worked with Train too this year.
Did you?
This year,
Yeah.
yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guys.
Oh man, super. I've only talked to Pat, but man, I'm been a fan forever, bro. You know,
Yeah.
it's like Drops of Jupiter is one of the greatest songs of all time.
Literally, yeah.
Literally. So that's so cool. I want to hear the song. Is
Yeah,
it out?
It's called Bloom. Released
Okay,
a
I'm
couple
gonna
months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
But that's legacy right there.
exactly.
Yeah, they're
I think
legends.
that's what's inspiring for me when you see a band and you're like, oh, you guys are in your, I don't know how old they are, but you're in your 50s and you guys are still killing it, doing these big arenas or big venues, and
Yeah, and
still
still
putting
very
out.
like family oriented. They all hang out, joking. It didn't feel like they were like separated and come to play. It was
Yeah,
like,
they
it
don't
was
all
really cool.
take their own tour buses.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they might because they got such big fucking whatever. But yeah, they're just super cool guys.
But it's like the party rock star vibe people don't seem to last. It's like the ones are like
Short-lived.
even like the Rolling Stones. I guess they bring a whole gym on a semi truck on their tours. Like
Really?
Mick Jagger works out every day on the road.
See, those are the things you hear about, and you're like, yeah, this wasn't an accident. You didn't
Yeah.
just talent your way into everything. You're still doing that.
Yeah, we
at
did-
fucking 70.
So the
Yeah.
That is freaking wild.
So Train, they performed at the Forum. So they had us come and pop up at their show. So we did some backstage stuff, content, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we all usually run the stairs before the set. You guys are welcome to come." We're like, "Oh, we're good."
Too tired for that, even though the fact that you have more energy than us is
All
like
these guys like 20 years older than us, just like running the stairs.
inexcusable. Yeah, we're just like, oh, that sounds like
It's like killing it. But it's cool to see that and be like, "Oh, this is what it takes to be that good for that
For
long."
longevity, yeah. Yeah, I think.
Do you ever have like people you collab with that you're like, "Oh, this is big," or "This changes my perspective on the music industry"? I know you worked with YG, Wale,
Dude,
a bunch
I
of
am
people.
so bad about reaching out to people to collab. Like, I just hope that it gets to the right ears that love
Right.
it. And so now I got a couple on the album, just like Lovely the band, because I'm really close with Mitchie.
oh yeah.
And then this girl, Brittany Spencer, she's a country artist, black girl, and she's great. And she heard a song that I'd written and loved it. And I did one with Kylie Morgan of a song that I'd written a couple years ago.
That one
Like,
sounds pretty country.
it's again Americana, and that's what I call it. I'm just like, dude,
I didn't expect that
I don't
record
put
from
a
you.
cowboy hat on when I go out or anything. I'm not cosplaying country like everybody in LA. I just, we wrote that song and it was beautiful, and she loved it. Like, if an artist loves the song, like when I played You Guys Stay and you loved it, I'm like, dude, That's all I really need to hear.
Hell yeah.
Doesn't matter anything else. Like, cause but I'm terrible at reaching out to people, man. Like, I'll send a DM, you know, if they don't read it, that's pretty much me like giving up. So that I just keep writing stuff, you know, and I hope that it falls on the right ears, and it has, you know, built an audience from it. But there's just so many things that if I was better at it, I feel like it would just be, you know, like the world would open up a whole lot more. But
you got to ask for sure. I'm trying to be better at it too.
Dude, it's
because you never know. You never know when you're gonna get a response.
It's just I went so long without getting anything from anybody, you know, and doing it so much on my own that now it's hard to even think, oh, you know, you have a little leverage now. Like, people want to work with you. You could probably reach out to this person.
But even like the Hoodie Allen tour that you did, that's got to be. I mean, when I was coming up, he was like a legend, and now he's still killing it. But that's got to be cool doing that tour with him and just getting like little insights, like industry insights and stories.
That's my dog, man. No, I learned a lot from the way Hoodie toured, because, you know, I one of the first ways that I actually got exposed to audiences that were going to come buy tickets was I got an opening slot of 4 on his tour.
That's what I heard. I remember you or Gino telling me that.
Yeah. It
Like
was,
you-
it was
what do you mean?
Kyle, Black Bear.
Oh wow,
Nash.
that's a good lineup.
Great rent lineup.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Black Bear and him had some friction, whatever the fuck. And Black Bear left the tour, and I just hit him on Twitter. There you go.
So you got to ask. There you go.
But yeah, seeing how the way that honestly he did it for the most part, I was just like, you know, oh, this makes sense. It's kind of like the responsible version of doing a tour.
Yeah, and it's those moments of seeing somebody do it. Like, oh, I could do that too. You see somebody that kind of makes it look easy,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh,
The
they're
dude manages himself still.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how. I could never.
That's wild.
But yes, and he came and supported me on this last tour, which was also cool. You know, it's like I wouldn't even say passing the torch, but it's literally just like support. You know, it's like, oh, cool. Now you have an
like
audience and you need
not
support,
having
so-
an ego about it.
Dude, not at all. He is so smart, man. He really is a smart guy. And whenever I talk to him sometimes about career stuff, and he always has something to say that no one has ever said before.
What's like the biggest gem?
Oh man, I was afraid you were going to ask me
Yeah.
because I'm so bad at remembering on the spot. I actually have a list that I've been keeping for
Like I got to
well over a decade of just interesting or funny
Wow.
things that people I know have said. So he's on there somewhere. It's just I can't think of it under pressure.
No,
but
it's all
he
good.
doesn't let his ego ever get in the way of a good decision, you know. And I don't see that a lot. That's probably why we're so close, because I've tried to befriend other artists that are not like you guys, and I just find it really difficult. I feel like I'm back in elementary school,
Especially if
trying
you're-
to be like friendly
yeah.
with the cool kids and, you know, on the playground. And
If
they
you're
don't
in the
want anything
same
to do with it.
genre, there's like a competition.
There can be.
Like,
That's
we
the
don't-
ego again.
we don't really
speaking.
play
You're
the
not
same
really
shows, you know?
competing with anybody but yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
You're just not. And my best friend reminds me of that all the time, you know, because I'll compare myself to other artists and their careers and their, you know, what they've been able to.
You're pretty
accomplish.
unique though. Your sound is pretty unique.
Yeah, and that's
I will
yeah,
say.
dude. And I love that. It doesn't stop me from having any of those ego-driven feelings, which I'm now am just now really getting a grasp on and letting everything roll off more. I'm even reading a book called "Ego is the Enemy," and seeing a lot of the ways of thinking that have been not in my favor for years, you know. And so it takes a lot of pressure off when I walk into the room for a show and
Yeah.
for
Because
playing
there's
songs.
certain thoughts and habits that protect you and actually give you success that 5-10 years down the line don't serve you anymore.
Yeah.
You have to ask that, is this working anymore?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like if you're, not to call out Black Bear or anything like that, but like imagine you're Black Bear and you're super confident, and then that worked for you, that helped you get signed, that helped you get big, and then you're on a tour with Hoodie Allen and you're like, fuck Hoodie, I'm the biggest. And then all of a sudden you're kicked off the tour and you're like, it helped you get to that point, but it doesn't necessarily mean it works in every scenario, and you have to be able to separate the two.
Dude, and a lot of people get trapped in that cycle, you know, or you got to graduate, and your fans want to see you mature over time. They don't want to see you do the same thing forever, because as soon as that happens, that's like when it's kind of finished. You've gotten to that point that you're going to get to. Your growth has stunted somewhere. You know, they want to grow with you. So, so I'm actively trying to remind myself now things I didn't even realize was the ego speaking. And the ego doesn't even always tell you positive things.
Right.
You know,
I think about all the time stuff with the group that I'm like, damn, I kind of wish we didn't do that.
Yeah, we let the ego get in the way. We act out.
Yeah,
whatever.
for sure.
Find me
Million
someone
times.
not
That happens
guilty
to
of
the
it,
best
bro.
of us.
Yeah.
Find me one person not guilty of doing it one time,
Especially in the
especially
dance.
after some success.
The dance world, I mean, you can get blackballed off of a festival like pretty easily.
Yeah.
They just never
Political.
play.
Yeah, it's
You know?
political for sure.
And for me personally, you know, I won't say, I'm not saying I was one of the first mixed people ever. I was just saying when I grew up, there weren't a lot of us, just like black and white kids. You know, it's like, oh, do you fit in with the black kids? Do you fit in with the white kids? And now get it, like, you know, making the music that I make, you can't help but think about race a lot of times because it's thrown in our face a lot of times. But I know artists that have let their career be decided by who around them was what race, because they thought that they needed more of this kind of person around them, or these kind of people, or that they wanted more, you know, they wanted more Asian people in the crowd, or they wanted more black people in the crowd, or they had too many white people in the crowd. And it's like all these extra factors. And I know artists that have said to me on the phone that they fired people because they wanted to bring in people that believed in them and stuff based on race. And when I saw what happened with that, I was like, that's also the ego. Like you shouldn't be concerned about what the people look like that listen to your stuff or that believe in you. You know, I just don't live that way, especially because everybody's welcome. And if a certain demographic of people, like you don't ever see a K-pop artist pissed off that there's a shit ton of Koreans in the crowd. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I don't care about that at all now. But that used to bother me. And then I saw somebody actively do it, you know, because especially coming up, I was compared like to, I guess a lot of times white artists, and I had a lot of white kids in the crowd. And I can't even now, I'm like, how could I have ever at one point thought, oh, that's a bad thing, I got to do something about that? Dude, are you kidding me? I don't care what kind of person you are. If you were buying a ticket, even Michael Jordan in that documentary, when they asked him,
conservatives buy shoes too.
Yeah, he said,
conservatives buy Nikes too.
yeah. That's my mentality for everything now. I'm not worried about any of that shit anymore. It's way better anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Look at people as individuals, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
100%. I think
Who's the rudest artist you've ever met? Go ahead, throw some shade. Let's get this thing viral.
Oh man, the rudest artist. That's a good.
I don't know if
question.
we should do that actually.
I don't know if anybody's been like brutally rude.
I don't think anyone's really been brutally rude.
I thought Becky G was kind of rude.
Fair enough.
He's just like, put it out there.
Yeah, put it out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
We didn't have like a long conversation with her, so it's just it was just in passing. Some people can be like, if they're in a hurry, and you're an artist, so you know, like sometimes you have a bad day, and you get it.
Bad flights or something.
Yeah,
I get it.
fair enough.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna hold
you
it
never
against
know.
her.
You never know if you're really judging someone off their
Of their
actual
best.
character
Yeah,
or
this
if
is
they're
your best
just
day.
tired. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I will say though, Liam Payne was like the most professional, one of the most professional guys we worked with.
Really?
Super
Damn.
nice guy.
Super down to
R.I.P.,
earth and
man.
chill.
He was just on it, ready to.
Yeah, man,
Do
that
whatever
one
he
hit
needed
me
to do.
hard. That was crazy.
So it felt like
It's really
out
tough.
of nowhere.
Poor guy.
I don't know many more details about his death other than that he had fallen or jumped off the balcony. But
Yeah,
it
they're
doesn't-
speculating now that he was climbing down and fell.
Yeah, he's, like,
what
trying to
that's
escape
that's the most recent
his
thing
room.
I've heard. So it was an accident, which makes it even, obviously way more
Oh,
Worse.
man.
just brutal. So, yeah, nice
Sad,
guy
man.
though. Good guy.
R.I.P.
Again, those kind of things, you look at your own success in your own career, and And if you were going to measure it to somebody, he'd be an easy person to do it to. Good looking person, has had a super successful career in a group and then solo, and then something like that happens, you know, that there's no going back from.
Yeah, a fluke of a day that goes wrong, and what can you do?
You know, and it's like, all right, well, maybe I should calm my ass down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
The weird, creepy thing about that song, too, that we did with him was called "Live Forever," and the whole idea of the song is that you live fast, die young, until you came along. Now you make me want to live forever. And the guy that wrote it, what was the story with the guy that wrote
fell
it?
off a balcony or something.
Yeah, he
No
wrote
way.
it and almost died after falling off a balcony, and then wrote that song about.
Yeah, like he was
and then
basically like,
ended up
damn,
singing it, which is a very eerie, crazy story.
Yeah, how wild
like
is that,
he
bro?
was like, that was a close call. That puts into
Whoa.
perspective like how precious life is. So then he wrote the song "Live Forever." So we're just like, wow, that is creepy. And I also just think you always think you have more time. You always think you have like a lot of time. You're like, oh, I'm in my early 30s. I got double, triple my life. And you just think you can be a little bit more reckless with what you have. And you have to really.
I'm kind of banking on that by the time I'm 60, science will have figured out how to push death back by another
I know, I'm hoping
20
so,
years.
man.
Oh,
Put your
bro, yeah.
brain in the.
I'm banking
A
on
little
it.
robot suit and
I'm
call it a
smoking
day.
these vapes. I'm
all
drinking.
the
Give me some new lungs.
Staying up late sometimes. Thank you. Yeah, God, I feel so bad doing this sometimes.
But yeah, I don't know what he was going through. He was a great guy when we worked with him, super professional. And I know some people were saying his mental health stuff, and he wasn't happy with where he was at. And it's like, dude had a song with 1 billion streams on his own.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a million things you could list. He's in the biggest boy band of our
Of all
generation,
time,
you know.
yeah.
It's
But I mean, like
of
he
all
was
time, yeah, it's
he
like
was
he's just-
super accomplished on his own.
Yeah.
And maybe he's
And
looking.
still had those problems.
Yeah,
it's
so
like it's you got to have perspective on like how
You're
what
never
to be
you're
grateful for.
if you're always looking for external happiness, you're never gonna find it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's got to be like a wake up call for all artists. And then also like we really can't be playing around with the drug stuff.
No.
Like apparently he's doing pink cocaine or whatever.
that was false, but
Okay, cool.
yeah.
I think he said he did have a couple bottles of whiskey or something before, because they were like carrying him in the hotel lobby or
Yeah,
whatever.
it was
or
like
something.
a mix of a few things, but the pink cocaine thing was
That's such
Bye.
a shame, man. The
It sucks, bro.
I was having a day at the studio. I was already stressed. I hadn't eaten. I smoked a little bit, and then I got in the studio, and I fell. I passed out. I hit my head.
oh no.
Oh shit.
and and even on the way to the studio, I was just like to the hospital. I was dazed and still stressed about the same shit even after that happened. And I got to the hospital, and the doctor that treated me was a fan, and I was like, all right, yeah, things aren't so bad as long as I get a clean bill of health after this, which I did. But even those little reminders are nice, you
Yeah.
know. It's like, oh shit, yeah, no, you have
not so
done
bad.
something here. You're not wasting your time, you know.
Yeah, because you don't know if they actually care about you or if it's more like a superficial kind of thing. And we just played the show in New York. I don't know if you guys heard this. We walk into Marquee nightclub and it's Black Friday, so I don't even know. Like, is this even going to be like a packed show? What's going on? First thing I walk in, it's like 10 to 20 fans. Matt, congrats on your engagement. Matt. I was like, what the
You're
hell?
like, they do care.
No
Yeah,
way.
Just a bunch of people I don't even know.
There's
That like meant more to me than like the show. I was like, what the hell?
few better feelings.
Because you know, like people, they turn up at a club, they have fun. You're like, oh, you just want us to play whatever popular song, or you just want us to play our hits or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't know if they actually care. Like,
No, they were interested in you
yeah. I was like, oh wow.
and excited for you.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful thing. I remember one time, the first sold out New York show I ever had. My mom was in the crowd. I flew her out, and she was in the balcony, and I told the crowd that she was there, and they all turned sideways, and they all started clapping for her.
Oh,
and she was
that's
doing
awesome.
this.
Aw.
And still, I have that memory as one of the greatest
That's
things that ever
cute.
happened.
That's great.
But it's those moments you feel, oh no, you're making an impact. It's you
Yeah.
specifically that's doing it too, and it's a beautiful thing, man.
They
It's
want
not
to be a
taken for
part
granted.
of your journey, of your ride.
They really do.
You gotta
Really,
take them
God
on.
bless them, man. When you think about what people go through to go to a show, I would never.
I would say, I'm like,
I would never.
I used to be one of those fans when I was younger.
Really?
I used to
Oh,
go
man.
to all the shows. I would skip school. I'd be there in the morning, wait all day for the show.
Really?
Yeah, I'd wait for the
did
band
that.
to pull up in their van. Oh, I'd go up there. Can I get something signed? I was like that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So you really are just a fucking genuine music lover. I was not that, and I'm still not that. There's not many, if any, artists that I will, especially in a cold city, will like wait outside
All day.
for hours, pay the ticket ahead of time, then like go wait and pass the opening band, and then finally that person goes on, and then I gotta find my way home too. Like,
yeah.
dude,
Too much.
When you're
It's a lot.
14
They gotta
though,
really
when
be
you're
invested.
14, it's such a crazy experience. Like being 14, going to see Death Cab for Cutie, you're like,
Staying there all
whoa.
day. You're like, oh, it's so
What
exciting
is
when you get
this?
inside. It's like,
It's funny you mentioned them because that was one of the first.
There's
bands I
such a
saw in
good
college.
show.
Yeah, it's a good
So
show.
good.
Seen them twice.
I saw From First to Last when I was 14, and then Skrillex came out, and I was standing
Oh,
there.
that's right. That's his original band, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he was the opening band, and it was maybe like 150 people in the show in St. Louis, and he goes on, and it's something we do on stage too, like raise your hands if you've never heard of From First to Last, and I felt like a dork because like I've never heard of these guys, so I like raised my hand, and then after the show, he's just chilling, smoking a cigarette outside the venue, and I was just trying to be cool. I was like, "Hey man, I like your shoes." And then he looked at me. He looked at me
That
like
is pretty cool.
he like rubbed my chest and he said, "Gay is the new emo." And then he went on
And that was your interaction with Skrillex.
and then he went on the bus.
10 years before he was Skrillex.
No way.
I never saw him again.
That's so funny.
Hey,
I've
man, I
ki-
like your shoes.
I'm curious what the coolest celebrity experience you guys have ever had is.
Man, honestly, some of the funniest ones.
besides-
Besides this right now.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, this is pretty
here.
sick. Me and Kevy had some really funny ones when we were coming up because when we first started Cheat Codes, we used to do catering because Kevy knew this Norwegian girl that ran this catering company. So she would just hit us up randomly. So there was all these celebrity parties. We did one. It was this art dealer, and Leonardo DiCaprio was like the first one at the party.
Bro, that was
No
sick.
way.
So we're
Yeah,
like
so
setting up
sick.
the whole party, just setting up tables, and with catering, you're kind of not really doing anything. So we're
We
just
were
like,
like trying to hide.
yeah, we're
too.
just like hiding and eavesdropping on these conversations. So
Yeah.
Leo's going over this painting. The whole house is filled with millions of dollars worth of art. Oh my god, I almost bought this one in the 90s. And me and Kevin just looking at each other like, whoa, where are we? This is wild, dude.
What is this?
This just like
It just, when you see that too, when you're trying,
priceless painting that he almost got.
Yeah.
but when
Titanic,
you're
yeah.
you're hustling,
So
you're
funny.
trying to pay off your bills, you're just trying to make ends meet, and then you see this, and you're like, "There's a whole other level to this. Like no one even understands." And you see
Yeah.
it firsthand. You're like, "Oh, there's a way to get there. It
Yeah.
exists." I mean, like Leo was just a normal guy, and then
No, he's there.
now he's buying paintings in the 90s.
Crazy.
Tell him about the other party we did where you made me eat that edible.
Oh, dude. One of these. Oh, bro. Was that the French Montana
Fuck
party?
edibles.
That was the Diddy party.
I-
Wait,
Well,
actually?
Clarify.
yeah, bro. I used to do these parties like quite often, so like I knew about I would always get high and like just chill and be chatting. Matt,
Yeah,
like,
I
his
was
first
new,
time
yeah.
working. I think was it your first time? I think first event with me.
Kevy's acting like these parties are normal. It's no big deal. Take this edible. We're done with all the heavy work is done.
Yeah,
we
we're
already
just
set up the
chilling, we're
tables.
chilling.
None of the guests are there. It's Gigi Hadid's
Muhammad,
Mohammed Hadid's house. There's swans in the front, like when you pull up, and then there's fire breathers in the backyard, and there's no guests yet. So we're like, yeah, screw it. Let's just take this edible. The edible hits right when all the guests arrive, and me and Kevy are just looking
Bro,
at the.
The funniest thing about it all is that the person that hired us we were like bartenders. And
Yeah.
we didn't know how to bartend anything. So there's like
No, we never
there's like
bartended.
3 drinks that like I don't even know what the hell they are.
They're all
So
Ciroc.
we're just pouring like what Matt
Mix,
poured up
mix,
like
whatever.
super. Who did you pour super heavy
French
drink
Montana.
for?
Well, I poured really heavy for Khloe Kardashian, and she took a sip and was disgusted, and it was so strong. And I was like, oh, it's fine. I just tried to play it off, but I was so stoned. But it hit me when like when you're at a restaurant and then there's like the dinner rush.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine you're at a restaurant, there's a dinner rush, but every person is like the biggest celebrity in the world.
The Kardashians
And you're
were
high
there.
as shit.
And you don't know how to
Kim.
bartend. And then you're just pouring
And
drinks.
they hire you to be the bartender.
And then
You're
every-
like the main. Yeah, you're the bartender for the whole night, dude.
And every person you make a drink for, they're like, this is way too strong.
You're like, oh,
What are you doing? So then the part that was freaking me out, and I think after this, I
That's
told
funny.
Kevy I couldn't do it and I had to go to the bathroom. I like hid out in the bathroom because French Montana comes up and, you know, there's only like 3 drinks. It's all Ciroc. It's all vodka drinks. So he goes up and he's like, blue dot. I was like, come again? Blue dot. I'm sorry, Mr. Montana. I really have no idea what you're saying. Blue dot Ciroc. I'm like, oh. So I had no idea what you're saying, and I was like, Kevy, I have to get out of here. I'm freaking out. I was like having a panic attack.
That is way too much pressure to be under. Jesus.
Blast.
that is so funny.
Why would you put him in that position?
What I think
blast,
was Ryan
dude.
Seacrest at that one.
That was the other one at the art dealer's house
Oh,
where
okay.
like when Trump was running the first time, they remember they had an impersonator of Trump come in and they were like, there was a pinata.
Like a pinata, like a
of
Trump
Donald
pinata.
No
and
way.
then, dude, I went over to Matt was working in one of the bars, and
Yeah.
I was at the other bar, and Ryan Seacrest just came to my bar, and I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go tell Matt that Ryan Seacrest is here." I walk over to Matt, and I walk up, and it's like Matt's talking to Heidi Klum, like just casual, nonchalant, like right here, and it's like the other guy from the Black Keys, the drummer guy, or whatever. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck
it's
is
just
going on, dude?
it's just me, Heidi Klum, and the guy from the Black Keys, and I'm like, yeah. So what's
Chat
going on
normal.
after this?
Yeah, just
Where's the party after this?
Oh man.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah, that was way better
I'd
than
be
the
stressed out in that
edible.
room if I wasn't working and high.
I think we would bring like changes of clothes.
Yeah, dude,
I
because we
think-
would like try to like be
Yeah.
like as if we're like guests of the party, not like working the party.
Halfway through, just change.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, when you get off work, you just pretend, you just blend right in. you
yeah.
know?
like,
We got to show the picture. There's a picture of one of these parties, and the Kardashians and the
trying to
Hobbies
get-
are all posing, and Kevy's in the background.
I made it in the back.
He photobombed.
No
Yeah,
way.
yeah, then we
we
get it.
gotta find that photo. That's great.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So that was the same party because P. Diddy strolled through because it was like everything has to be Ciroc, and then Chloe was dating French Montana,
Time, yeah.
but they were trying to keep it on the low, like there was rumors or something, but it didn't even look like they were really together. I don't know.
Remember us walking outside and Jesse Rutherford from the neighborhood?
He was trying to get
He
in.
was trying to get in.
But
I was
we-
like, Jesse, what's up?
We changed clothes, so he didn't know we were working. So we were trying to play it off like we're cool. Like, oh no, we're just
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the party.
were
We
trying
weren't
to act
working.
like we were cool.
And then Jesse's like, he knew Kevy from back in the day. Oh, help me get in, help me get in. And we're like, oh, sorry, bro. Like, we got to get back there. It's like, no.
Yeah, just Jesse by himself.
Kevy's like, I don't know if I can help you, man.
Sorry, man.
We're on our way out.
But I remember Diddy rolls through, just says hi to everybody, and then Snoop Dogg rolls through in this giant fur
Oh,
coat
yeah.
in the middle of L.A.
So just to get a quote, are you saying that Diddy was cool?
I think
Yeah, we're gonna clip this.
He just he made an appearance. He just made an appearance. He wasn't like significant enough at the party. But I remember Kevy was like, "Oh, I gotta
You
go
guys are
say
best
hi to
friends.
Snoop,"
Yeah.
and he tried to go walk up to Snoop, and just some big bodyguard out of nowhere, just nah.
Yeah. Nope.
Like Snoop wouldn't even look at him. Wouldn't even look at his direction.
That's great.
Oh,
Have you ever had any weird celebrity experiences, or funny, or just
Yeah.
notable?
I remember I was opening for 2 Chainz, and
Oh, I love 2 Chainz.
yeah, I didn't really get to find out if I love him or not because me and my drummer and my guitar player walk up and we were like, I was trying to get him on La La Land.
You should have called him Titty Boy. Maybe that would have helped.
I know. Oh, gee. I was trying to get him on La La Land at the time. The label was like chatting with his team. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity to introduce myself and walk up. And he had a bodyguard with him. And I said, yo, what up, Chainz? Love your shit, man. You know, I hope you hop on the song. And he was on his phone and his bodyguard wouldn't let me get so close. And he just looks up and he goes, yeah.
Nice.
That was the entirety of our interaction. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't tell if he's gonna do it or not, or if he even heard a word I said.
What year was this?
2019 probably.
Okay, I think we met him around the same time. We did like a show,
He was probably high as shit.
and he just took a picture with us. But he felt, I don't know if his kids were there or
His
what.
family was there. Yeah.
Yeah, he felt like he was just a dad.
Yeah.
So I remember just being like, oh, this guy's cool. He's just like a family man. He just like does this rap thing for a job. Like that's just how it felt.
Yeah. Again, you never know. It's just like a day.
You never know how
Yeah.
stoned
He could've just been
they
super
are.
high. He could have been like taking an edible like you did.
Yeah, I mean, we try to meet Snoop Dogg. His bodyguard doesn't let Kevy even look at him. And then later we're rehearsing for our live show.
Oh, bro, yeah, I forgot
And
about that.
Snoop's just smoking in the parking lot. I don't know how it got started, but he like rolls down the window. Let me get on a song with y'all. I still got it.
He's like, cheat
Yeah.
codes. I know about y'all. Yeah. And we're like, oh, sick, dude. This is cool
So
as hell.
basically, you guys had the interaction I was dreaming of. But you had
2 Chainz.
tight.
We should hit up Snoop again.
I still got it. We're like,
bro.
damn, that's sick as hell.
That is
Yeah.
cool. Probably one of the coolest people I've met a couple times. Miguel, he's super cool.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
Miguel's a very cool guy. He's also from LA, so I think we've kind of seen a lot of the same stuff. And the first time I ever met him, it was in Vegas. Here we are for iHeartRadio, and we're at some party at some penthouse thing, and I see he walks towards me with a bottle of Clase Azul, and I swear to God, he was walking in slow motion. I don't know how. He's just that cool.
He does. He's skywalking.
Yeah, he's
Skywalking.
skywalking,
Yeah.
exactly. But he's just like, yo, man, I like your song. Like, you want to take a shot? I'm like, yeah, Miguel. Got to call him by his first name. He was like, yeah, Miguel, let's take a shot. That was one of the coolest. And then we sat next to each other on the plane a few years ago from Mexico. Again, really nice guy. And Wiz Khalifa I met when I was like 22, just as a fan. And he was so cool. So cool. Clearly, he like looks you in the eye even when there's all this other stuff going on. It's like, thanks for the support, man. And then I played a festival with him this time last year in Mexico. And I was like, yo, man, I don't know if you know this, but you were super cool to me when I met you like 12 years ago. I was like, yeah, man, I remember that. He definitely doesn't, but but there's no way. All those years of weed smoking, you remember this one random time. But he was also cool that time. He had his mom rolling his joints for him at the festival.
That's sick. What a badass.
Kevy's rapping on a song with Wiz.
No way.
Yeah. I just saw Wiz actually on a hike like a couple days ago.
Did you?
Yeah. I didn't say anything to him though. 'Cause he had like a big posse around him.
It's funny because we did a
like,
song.
what? No fucking way.
I don't know how much we want to talk about this, but we did a song with Wiz, and he wrote the verse just off of a completely different song.
He
Like
just wrote a completely new hook.
no, like for No Time.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he had the verse, and we wrote the hook based off of his verse.
Which is usually not how it goes.
How much did you have to pay him for a verse?
It was like $20K.
That's not bad.
But
We're
like,
about to do another song with him. He just sent us a verse a couple days ago.
No shit.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
but he probably has never heard the song.
Which one?
No Time. He
Oh,
probably
yeah, that
No,
one.
probably
No,
not.
because he
No
wrote
way.
the verse completely separate. But I'm
Yeah.
like, how funny would it be? Kevy's on this hike. Hey, Wiz, we're on a song together.
He
He's
I
I was
was
thinking of saying that. I was like,
fuck
he
you.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
like,
know at all,
who the
bro.
fuck are you? You know about?
There's no
Yeah.
way we're on a song together.
And I don't know. Yeah,
Get out
it's
of
so
here,
funny.
white boy.
That's
Like,
what I was
This
thinking.
goes
There's no way he knows. I'm not
yeah.
gonna say anything.
Yeah,
to him,
exactly.
dude.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
Pull the 2 chains. Yeah.
no, I think Wiz's vibe is he just has to be positive vibes all the time. I think that's part of his whole thing,
That's
just
good.
outlook on life. You
It's
know.
good to be positive.
That's a good way to be.
But I remember Trevor was pissed because you try to
what?
talk. You try to talk to him at the.
Trevor, wait,
Oh, I
what?
wasn't mad at him. I was
No,
I
I
was mad
know.
at security. And I was, yeah.
No,
we
I
were
know.
playing NASCAR. We did this NASCAR thing with them, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go walk up to Wiz and say what up. And we were doing the same show together, and the security's like, oh no. But it wasn't his security; it was NASCAR security.
You-
I was like, what the fuck? Why
What?
not?
Why do
can't I
they
go
give a
say hi?
shit?
We
Yeah.
played for like 2 hours, and we would play in between
The crashes, bro.
The crashes. So we play 5 minutes at a time, and we did for 2 hours. So normally we're like, oh, we're gonna play. We thought we were gonna play for 45 minutes. So
Yeah.
after the 2 hours, Trevor was drunk,
It's true.
and Trevor was like, oh, I'm just gonna say what up to Wiz, and they were like, nah. He's like, let's get the fuck out of here. Fuck this place. Fuck NASCAR.
Fuck this place.
I think we
dude.
did like the last 30 minutes without you. I think we were like,
time to go,
where
dude.
did Trevor go?
I'm out of here.
Me and Kevin just sit up there, cars going around.
Yeah. Hell of a performance.
I came here just a week ago for F1. This racing
perform?
shit. Nah, I just came.
okay.
One of the sponsors guys I had met, he invited me out. I was like, "Fuck it, yeah, I'll eat caviar."
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds dope.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was great, but I don't get watching it.
Yeah.
I don't get it because I mean it's so much better on the TV.
Yeah.
It's so much better. What are you watching? It's just
And they're gone.
Yeah, the F.
And they're gone. That's so
Yeah.
true.
Well, no, because so people make fun of NASCAR because it's a circle, but with F1 the track it winds, so
Yeah.
All over
can't-
the place,
yeah.
right?
so you can't see the car unless it's right in front of you. NASCAR, you can see it at every point. You can
Yeah,
see
oh,
like
really?
you can see it. Yeah, we did a couple
Yeah.
NASCAR things. So the last one we did, I watched the whole race and I was hooked. I was into it.
to me.
You're really. They have like breaks. They have pauses. People they work on the cars. They're like, oh, okay, he has a really fast turnaround on the car. What pit stop? Oh, that was a great pit stop. you get into
Got a
it.
great third wheel, man.
Yeah, and then one crash somebody can be in first the entire race and just one crash, it's over.
Damn.
So it's actually, I was into it. But yeah, I don't know. F1 might be different. Never.
I've never really watched it.
It was cool, man. It's just very funny that they put it right in the middle of the strip in Vegas. We're in Nevada.
All the locals hate
It's
it.
just like all open space.
Yeah, we're
We're
gonna put
just
it in the
gonna
most
clog up the
complicated-
most congested area of
Yeah.
the entire state with these tracks.
That is funny.
But I met some interesting people. That's what I liked.
Definitely the first year, it was all the locals hated it. It's just a big
yeah, I
pain in the
heard.
butt because they have to build the track, like build the grandstand.
Let's
But
take forever. I mean, they do.
I wasn't around this year, but there's a lot of planes that come from other countries, a lot of
Mhm.
international. So I think that's the difference. NASCAR, we just think, oh, it's American redneck hicks. F1 is classier.
It's like countries.
You got people flying from Dubai and Switzerland and
Yeah.
France.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
yeah, caviar.
Yeah.
You think they're eating
Yeah,
caviar at
caviar, bro.
NASCAR?
I don't
Eating
think
chicken
so.
fingers.
I went by myself and I was just in this place where there's all these just like billionaires in this room and they have all the fanciest restaurants with their little booths and I'm just I'm just me and I have like piled high with all these different plates of truffled this and truffled that, just sitting there high as shit, just eating.
That's great.
It was the best thing ever.
That's awesome.
Did you ever play in Vegas?
Yeah, oh yeah. I
did
just
you
played
play?
there not too long ago with Cash.
Like a pop up, or it was like your show?
Yeah, I don't. Oh, I played my shows in Vegas at some
Where
of these
where
clubs.
do you play?
I played at Light, which doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, okay.
Played at
And-
Hakkasan,
Oh, sick.
One Oak.
Is that
One
like
Oak even there anymore? Is it still?
I don't
there?
know.
I don't think so.
I have no
I
idea.
don't know about One Oak, but
And
with those
Beach
types
Club,
of things, you
I
just
can't remember the
you
name
just
of the beach
pop
clubs.
up for 3 songs and then you're out.
a lot of that shit. Yeah. You know,
You're like,
come
this
out
is
with
the
you guys
easiest.
and you guys speed up the song when I come performing with you too, so it goes by in like 20 seconds. I'm like, oh, that was fun.
When you were texting me because I was picking you up from the airport and I was just going through the text. The last text was like, "We never get to play the original, man."
Oh, you're chopping it in half, playing it at twice the tempo.
You know I gotta leave, but I want to stay.
Yeah.
Take it in the shot for the memory, and then it's over. I'm
It's like
oh,
one
shit.
verse, one hook, crazy drop, and it's done. 40 seconds
Yeah.
max.
You're like,
I do that to
Jesus.
Trevor all the time. I'm like, it's only one verse this time.
Like,
I was
okay, here we go.
And then he just wings it. You know, this is the lifestyle.
So
Well, he's a
funny.
real professional. I don't know. I don't know.
The
how
next
to
time we're
handle
doing the
that
full
shit.
song, dude.
Yeah,
No,
you-
especially-
so you say.
No, we already did it. We
We're
did
gonna
it in
play
Nashville.
slower than
Oh, did
the
you?
original.
Oh wait, we did. Wait, we did it.
We
Yeah,
did the full song in Nashville.
I was a little-
Okay,
I was a
yeah.
little tipsy
Because I
that
would have
day.
felt bad because you texted me. I was like, I brought it to the guys. I was like, Bryce really wants to play the original. Is that
Hell yeah.
okay? And they're like, yeah, it's okay.
I'm down for it both ways.
We can do it. No, I think it's more special,
It is better to do the original.
especially
Makes
that
sense.
style of set. I mean, we didn't really play Nashville that much until COVID, and now it's a really good market for us.
Really.
I don't know if it's because of the country album or just the fan. They have a little bit more bars and clubs than
Yeah, I
they used
didn't-
to, but
I didn't even remember them used to play dance music in the clubs.
no, they
really.
didn't.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we even played Nashville until maybe a college thing. I think we did I think maybe the 2 Chainz thing might have been Nashville,
Okay.
a college thing.
Do
But
you know what the worst city you've ever been to is to play a show?
well, we did
That
this.
place in Maine.
Well, Lee,
yeah.
Maine. We played Lee, Maine.
Sorry, Lee Maine. I mean, it was.
It was like the
Awful.
first. It was the first
It's not a good show
festival
for us.
offer we ever got. And I think they paid us like 6,000 or 7,000. We're like, wow, we're rich. we have to go.
We
but
have to do it.
It was like a first year. They're like, it's a first year festival, not a big lineup, whatever. We go middle of nowhere. We get on stage. About 3 or 4 songs in, the whole generator just
Goes out.
goes out.
Oh no.
And we're just sitting on stage. You know, this never happened to us before. Like, what do we do? The guys are like, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Well, it was
It was like some
warranted.
hillbilly, like
Very rough. Huh?
yeah.
Very rough.
They turned
It
a
was like
ski
someone's
resort.
family set it up, you know.
They turned a ski resort into a festival, like during the summer. It was like one of those things. Like they had a lift. You had to like walk up a hill to see the other stages.
Yeah. And
Everything was
Sounds
muddy.
kinda
they
fun.
never came back.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. Everyone was just a bunch of stoners,
Yeah, but
bunch
like
of hippie people.
10 acres with a total of like 50 people.
Yeah.
Walking around. You know? It was like, oh God, what is happening?
Literally dozens of people.
Yeah, dozens. Yeah. What about you? Any
Oh,
city or-
Elkins, West Virginia.
What is it?
Elkins, West Virginia
Wow.
is the
Elkins.
worst place I've ever played. For
Yeah, because they don't really
and
have.
I've been there twice.
What
Oh
happened?
yeah, okay.
What kind of show?
They have a
shows?
weird college. I'm so sorry I have to say this. I hope they don't.
It's
hire
not.
me
It's not the
again.
Mountaineers, is it? Because we played the
No.
Mountaineers once. And it
That's
was,
a big college.
actually, we
Yeah,
we
I
did the
don't know.
Mountaineers, and the power went out there too. We had to like switch venues.
You had to switch venues.
Yeah, you remember we
That
played
I've never done.
with Matoma.
Yes,
Oh,
I remember that.
Oh, that's my dog.
So what happened in West
Okay.
Virginia?
It's just a weird place. It's just a really weird place. It's a
For music,
really
for sure.
shit little town. First of all, we're there on a Saturday, and me and my DJ wake up early so we could like see the town a little bit before the first time that we went there. And they only have one thing to do there. It's a movie theater, and it's closed. And everybody knows that there's a lot of inbreeding apparently in the area. So there's signs when you meet people at a bar. You know how like normal people just walk up and decide if they're attracted to somebody?
Right.
Yeah, they have to look for signs to see if they're related.
No
Oh
way.
no.
Like, and if there's inbreeding in their family, like
So
a
they, like-
lazy eye is a very telling sign.
Or like,
apparently.
what's your last name?
Yeah. I didn't see her at the family reunion this year. So it's
So
just
you
a
must
weird
have been a
little
big
town.
hit in that town.
Oh,
They
man.
must have been all over you.
Well, it's funny. Me and my Jewish DJ were laughing as we were driving through the beautiful hills of West Virginia on the way back to the airport, and it's just Confederate flag after Confederate flag after Confederate flag, and we're just like, we look like the top of a joke right now. Like a Jewish guy and a black guy drive through West Virginia and knock on a random door, and they say, "Get out of here."
You're not welcome
But,
around
but
these
they invited me
parts.
twice, you know. But the school is weird. It looks like Illuminati-esque. It's
Yeah.
very pagan looking. They have a really creepy old building.
Oh wow.
Was it a Shriners Lounge?
A what?
We played 2 of those on our tour. Do you remember that?
Oh,
we did
Masonic
one.
temples.
Yeah, it was
temples.
Masonic
Yeah.
temples.
Really?
Yeah,
You
so it was like a
actually
shrine.
played some of those?
Yeah, we did 2. It was like
They're wild.
Is it a weird vibe?
it was.
Yeah, weird construction.
We did one in Arkansas.
Yeah, very weird construction.
Very weird.
One was in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The other was in Wichita, Kansas. And one of them, there was a bomb shelter, like a nuclear fallout bomb shelter in the basement. Do you remember that?
I'm not sure. I remember
It was
I
weird.
remember the whole place being pretty
It was
weird.
like, this seems random as
Oh
hell.
yeah, where was that, bro?
That was in like either Wichita, Kansas or Fort Smith, Arkansas. And then the other one had
Yeah,
had this
Arkansas is
whole
weird.
Egyptian
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, I
artifacts.
remember that. Stuff.
Yeah,
And it's like, what's the point of all this?
it's trippy.
Human traffic.
In the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, who knows?
That is so
dude?
bizarre. Have you heard of that town in Arizona that they built like a whole weird little community, and it's where it is on the axis of Earth.
Oh, it's like
Makes
ley
it-
lines.
Yeah,
What is it?
it's
Some trippy, it's some hippy dippy astrology stuff. You know, like ley lines, like they say vortexes. If you're on these ley lines, it's spiritual, man.
yeah.
What?
You
But
go to
it's kind
Sedona.
of weird and dark, like the.
Oh, I don't know
way
the
it
one
seems.
you're talking about then.
Maybe I just got that vibe from it.
What's the town called?
I don't remember.
But no, that's the thing in like different places in the country that they say,
And
like New
search it.
Mexico.
I don't
Yeah.
like New Mexico.
So
Sorry
don't-
out there.
No, dude.
Albuquerque.
Oh my
Don't like it.
gosh.
Remember we did
Bro,
a
I
show
didn't
and we stayed at this haunted hotel.
Is that New Mexico?
Yeah,
Okay,
you remember
Ron.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
Albuquerque.
They were like, yeah.
That's the thing I
People
would
left. They're like,
way.
we're leaving. We didn't know It was like haunted.
That's
This
actually my
scary thing
favorite
happened.
part about
Yep.
doing these bus tours is you get to go to these kind of towns that you probably get to go to more often than us.
Oh, lucky me.
We get to stay at
Lucky
like
me.
a haunted hotel.
Yeah, I stayed at the Dahmer Hotel. That was interesting.
Oh,
Milwaukee?
Wow.
It's in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
what-
stay there, but I've seen
Is,
it.
is it supposed to be like where he grew up or what?
It's where he would. It was
It's
where he
where
stayed.
murdered somebody. One of the people.
Like he had their body parts in his fridge?
I think it was his first victim. Was he got a hotel room for him and some guy, and he killed him in that hotel room at the hotel that I stayed at.
You stayed in the
I had
same room.
the weirdest hard on. No,
There's
I
no
don't.
way you stayed in the same room.
No, I don't think so. Probably not. I don't know. I guess there's no way to know.
Was it next to that like haunted venue in Milwaukee where there's a pool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
You
Very
played there.
weird.
I played there. Yeah, a few different times back in the day.
See, this
like
is what
Cruiser
we're
Project.
this is what we're missing out on in the club life. We're missing out on these
those
cool
crazy
towns.
venues. There was like there's a huge pool in this dark, eerie room in the venue, and like people say that like things get moved. Like there'll be a chair that wasn't there that'll be like just suddenly in the pool. Like I don't know,
That's
just
scary.
weird stuff. It's definitely eerie.
I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to
gonna skip
see
out on
all
that.
You believe in ghosts?
Yeah, only because I had a situation when I was in high school that I could not explain. That was, to this day, you know, when I bring it up to my friends, we kind of have a chill down our spine. Do you remember Salvia?
Yes.
Yes.
Which is a horrible feeling for me.
loved
I
it.
hated it.
I
That
really
was like
hated
the
it. I
lead-
actually
legal
liked
lead
it.
back in the
That's
day.
so funny.
I tried it like,
It's one of the only bad trips I feel like I've had. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
well, it was legal
Yeah,
back
exactly.
then, you
Yeah,
know,
you could
so
buy
I
it at the
didn't feel
store
one way
in high
about
school.
trying it or not.
Is it
And
is it illegal now?
No, I'm pretty sure it's legal, but it's
Okay.
it's a weird feeling.
It was like an incense that someone found out you could smoke. So somebody stupid. It was like, yo, what if I?
Science,
But
man.
it trips you out for like 5 minutes, but it feels like an eternity.
So you did
Yep.
you did salvia, and then your mind.
Me and a couple friends, yeah. My mom was out of town. She would leave me with the house. She trusted me to have friends over and not do salvia, but I did once. And one of my friends, he had like a 2.5 hour experience where he was telling us things from a ghost perspective that there's no way. I've gone over it a million times that there's just no way he could have known. There is a abandoned mental institution maybe like 20 miles away from where I lived is CSUN. I don't know if you remember. Do you
I
remember
know
CSUN?
CSUN.
Yep.
Northridge.
There was a part of that was an abandoned mental institution.
Okay.
Okay, so it's all dark, and people would go there sometimes to just drink or whatever, like groups of us just to be scared, bring girls, whatever the fuck.
do salvia.
No.
Yeah.
That would be a really scary place to do that. But apparently one of my friends had found some book, and he lived with me at the time. My two best friends in high school lived with me. He had found some binder that just had a picture in it of just blackness, and he brought it back to my house. Fast forward to this night that we're doing salvia, my friend, who's now tripping for 2 hours, is talking about this book and that we need to bring it back. Now, my friend didn't tell any of us that he brought this book back. He was weird like that. Like, I would tell all my friends, like, look at this thing. But he was weird like that. I had no idea. And we said, oh, what do you want him to return? And he's like, the book with the black pictures. And I had to call my friend Dan, who was out with his girlfriend, and be like, do you know what the fuck he's talking about? Because at this point, we were like starting to just want this to all stop.
So it's like everything in the book is black.
Yeah.
But like you can't tell what it is.
No.
Just black pages.
And I saw it, and it was bizarre. And he found it in this abandoned mental institution,
How
brought
many-
it back to my house.
How many pages? Like 100?
No, it was like 3. It was just 3
What?
black.
That's even
and they
creepier
looked like
for
they
some
were
reason.
photo film. You know,
Right.
like someone had taken
Okay.
these photos and blown them up, but it was just blackness. Very, very bizarre. And I saw that, and I was like, oh yeah, we need to do whatever the fuck this guy says. We need to do whatever he says. And the weirdest part was, we drove at 4 a.m. that night to return this book. Made Dan go in and do it, and my buddy fell asleep.
So was this place just open, or did you kind of have to break in a little bit?
I didn't go in. I stayed in the parking lot. I said, fuck this. Black guy always dies. But he went and threw it back in the same room, I guess. And then my friend didn't remember any of it the next day. He didn't remember any of this. And there's nothing about salvia that makes you forget all the things that happen. And it lasts for 5 minutes. This went on all night long. And then he didn't remember any of it the next day, left the house to go to basketball practice. And when we brought it up to him, he said the only thing he remembered was some guy that he didn't know standing in the corner of my house.
So yeah, so you think he had this book and it was kind of communicating to him in like a weird way, like to pass through the veil.
What it was this ghost apparently was pissed off that we had taken something from this abandoned mental institution and he wanted us to bring it back. That was it. He recited a conversation that I had had with a friend of mine in the parking lot with no one else around, and he recited it. My friend, who wasn't even there the night that I had been there, and to this day, I'm just like, everybody's got their
Too
thing,
many crazy things.
And I'm a cynic, bro. I love to find the holes in everybody's logic and shit like that. I'm
You
kind
be-
of an asshole.
you believe in demons?
I'm the worst person to go to the movies with because I'll be like, this makes no sense. He wouldn't have done that. But to this day, I've never been able to understand what that was.
What do you believe in demons?
I don't know. I think there's things that we call something just because it's a type of person that has gone so far astray that you could look at them like that. One of the first serial killers in history, who they think is the original Dracula, or where they got the idea of Dracula, was a very, very rich guy, I think in England. I don't freaking remember. And it was
Transylvania.
Romania
Transylvania.
Transylvania. Yeah, and he was like he was just killing people all the time.
I think our manager was talking about this. I think it is in Romania, and you can stay at the castle.
Oh wow!
Fucking sick freaks want to do that. I don't know. I would do it.
I'm sick enough.
But he would.
I don't know about demons though. I just
kill
think
them and drink their blood like after the fact or something.
I think that makes you a fucked up person. I don't know if it makes you a demon. Well, I feel like a demon implies that there's some supernatural element to it, not that you're just really fucked up.
Right.
But like exorcists, like you think. I mean, according to the Roman Catholic Church, those are real things.
We can
that
trust
happen.
everything they say.
So you don't think
They
people
don't have a history of doing anything under the radar at all.
Nothing.
You don't think people get possessed?
I don't know.
Well, actually, Kevy, you have a crazy story.
I used to be possessed, yeah.
Kevy said, I used to be possessed.
You used to be possessed?
Yeah, when I was like a little kid.
Wait, what the hell? I've never heard
my
this
mom-
story.
Here, Kevy, speaking to the mic, yeah.
When I was a little kid, my mom brought home these toys or whatever, or got them from a garage sale. And I was like possessed. Like I would like sit in my room and just like, I wouldn't eat my food. I would just like play with these fucking toys all the time. My brother Tom knows more or can tell you better about it. But yeah, they had like a full on priest come in and do the holy water on me and stuff when I was like a little kid.
But wasn't the toy?
That's crazy.
I thought you told me the toy was some Native American. It was like it wasn't like a new toy. That he bought.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was like
secondhand
vintage toy or
yeah,
something.
some like old fucking toy.
I'm just like, why would your
But-
parents even buy you that?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
It's just some like
It's like
It was
a
like a
shrunk.
voodoo doll.
just
like
like
a
a
shrunken
play with
man.
it. That scared me too.
Damn, I wish there was like a video of this or pictures. Or
Yeah,
something.
you have to have Tom explain it. He explains it way better.
Yeah, because you couldn't. You don't really.
I don't remember shit. Like I just remember like I remember like the holy water stuff a little vaguely, but
That's wild.
little demon
When
kid.
when they would.
Little he starts crawling on the ceiling.
Oh my god.
Kevin,
No
come
shit.
back.
When they.
How have I, that's crazy. I
I'd
never
be
knew
really
this.
curious to hear from your family what that situation was like from not your perspective.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
to
I
bring
gotta ask your
Tom on
brother.
here.
Hit one more hit of that.
Do you remember they threw
Yeah,
the holy water on you? Was your skin burning or were you?
No, I don't know.
You're like, no.
I don't think so.
That's wild.
Tom says that after that happened, I was like chilling, like I was okay. But they also got rid of the toys, so maybe I could have just been a weird kid, just like
Tripping out a little
tripping
bit.
in love with this freaking toy, you know. And then like my parents are super religious, and they're like, "No, get away."
Right, they might have turned it. Yeah.
And then they did the exorcist thing on me, and I'm just like, probably, what the hell is this? Scared. And then I wake up the next day like, I don't want to ever do that again.
yeah, I'm never playing with that toy. That toy is a nightmare.
And that was the last time you tried salvia, right?
Yeah,
At 5 years old.
yeah.
But it was kind of weird though how your head spun a full 360 degrees. Like,
Yeah.
that was pretty
Forgot about
weird
that.
though. I don't know how you did that, man.
You're speaking Latin. That was wild.
Oh, bro, you're so trippy.
It's pretty cool though. They strapped you down.
Oh my god.
Strapped you down to the bed. Your arms and your legs, you know.
Precious.
Oh my god.
Man. It's 8:30, man.
Uh,
The fuck?
well,
Where's the food?
Time flies when you're having fun.
the food's definitely here,
Oh, it
so
is? Okay,
we
sick.
we can wrap it up here if we want, guys.
Yeah. Anything you want to toss in last minute, Bryce? Anything you want to talk about?
Your mom. All right. No, man, this has been great. I feel like we've talked about a lot of stuff.
We've covered all the subjects.
If anything, this is like a little therapeutic. You're doing stuff like this. I get why people like to have. Everybody has a fucking podcast now, but I get it. It's a therapy thing. You know, it's like talking through, remembering things that are cool about where you've been from, what you've learned, finding out from other people what they've been through, what they've learned, getting possessed.
Yeah.
yeah. You're not. I think the biggest thing too with the music industry, we're not alone. Like we feel like we're on these individual journeys, and you're like, who can you trust? And you're like, oh no, we kind of been through a lot of the same stuff. We've met celebrities that don't say hi to us.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
But it's good when you find people that you can actually like vibe with and bro down with, like Bryce. You know.
Yeah.
Somebody that you can trust.
Yeah, man. I realize like people aren't out to get you.
Yeah,
You know, they're out to do stuff for themselves.
exactly.
But they're not out to get you. I think for a long time I felt like I had a little chip on my shoulder, but I don't really feel that anymore.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Good.
Oh yeah, hit it.
Hell yeah.
Hey, boy.
Shout out Motel
boys.
California.
Yep. I'll probably drop that album in March after the tour. We're gonna play a couple of the new songs on the road to kind of tell the story. But, dude, the tour is kind of the best part of the job for me because it kind of rejuvenates my excitement in the songs I've already written and the songs that I'm still testing out. It's like the only time really I get to feel like a kid again, you know, unadulterated, unfiltered for the most part. So I'm excited for that. One more month.
Nice, dude.
What are you guys doing for New Year's?
We're gonna be in Arizona,
Scottsdale.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Barstool.
Yeah.
Man, that's a party.
Barstool.
Yeah, come
oh,
through.
really? You're playing Barstool in Arizona?
Come through,
I might
bro.
have to come out for
Yeah.
that.
Come
Yes.
through, dude.
Oh, gosh.
Barstool's awesome.
Just a guaranteed hangover. All right.
You put it in the calendar, bro.
I have to take breaks every once in a while from drinking and all that.
Yeah, it's
It's
impossible.
just
now.
too accessible.
Yeah.
in what we
Everywhere,
do.
every day.
You really got to have some restraint.
Yeah, that was actually what I was going to ask you about because I saw you went sober on a full tour.
Yeah.
Are you kind of just picking and choosing? Because you
You know what
said
it
you
is,
said
dude?
it was the best you've ever felt.
When my cup is full, you know, I don't feel the need for all this other stuff.
Right, 100%.
And on the road, I feel that, you know, you meet so many people, especially the meet and greets, bro. You know, you hear people's stories and some people break down and you really are their therapist for a moment and you kind of take their energy in and it's enough, you know, you just don't need more than that. But it's when I feel good about what I'm doing, I could literally be broke if I just feel good about what I'm doing and the processes that I'm going through, then, you know, I don't really need all these other things.
Yeah, I saw something where you kind of had to relearn how to be in social situations again because you're kind of a social drinker. And I definitely had to do that. I think it's been, I don't know, like a year and a half since I stopped drinking.
Really?
And it was,
Your skin looks amazing.
thanks, bro. But no, I had stage fright. That's why I drank mainly. But you had to like relearn how to have fun at a party, like sober. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this has been a while.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. My friend calls it raw dogging life.
Yeah, like a raw dog or 3 hour
Dang
flight.
life.
But it is good. I mean, you could do the whole party and you're not feeling like crap. You're kind of starting to get over
Yeah, I'm getting over
the
it.
drinking a little bit.
Dude, it just takes
I'm
too much
starting
of
to
a
get over it,
toll,
dude.
bro.
I'm the
Yeah.
youngest. I feel like he's a year older than me, and then he's 2 years older than me. So I feel like I'm always just like, it'll be like Matt will stop doing something, and then it'll be like, all right, in a year I'm done.
Yep.
You know?
You kind of see where your path is
Yeah,
leading
exactly.
through your
I'm like,
boys.
okay, I'm heading there in a few months.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm a big numbers guy, and one day I did the math because usually my habit or my routine was I'll drink before the show. We do like Friday, Saturday. Maybe we'll do 3 shows in the weekend, so maybe it's 3 shows in a row. Then my whole Sunday and part of Monday, I was hungover and recovering. And I did that for years, and that was my routine. I knew it. I had a day and a half every week that I needed to recover. And one day I did the math, and I was like, damn, that's like 60 days a year. What am I doing?
Holy shit.
That's so much time I'm
I
throwing
didn't
away.
even know that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But I mean, when you're young and like you're not even hungover, you're not even thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Right. They hit you different now.
Miss those
That's for
days.
fucking sure.
Miss those days.
Well, hell yeah, dude.
Good shit, boys.
Yeah, we appreciate you
Yeah,
being
good
on the
shit.
podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Thanks for
bro.
having me.
Enjoy the tour. Everyone check out
Bryce.
the album, the tour, all of it.
Yeah, boy. And let's get another song in soon, huh?
Dude, let's
Oh,
fucking
hell
do it.
yeah.
I got
Let's
plenty of
absolutely do
shit.
it.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. This is Cheat Codes Podcast with Bryce Vine. Peace out.